Never mind, I got him.
You just shaked him to death! Dude! What the fuck?
How you love that?
You mad rag, you fucking shanked him to death.
How you love that? I made that guy my bitch.
Hopefully. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Pelican 1 preparing to depart. Shuttle launch in 20 seconds. Reinforcement budget depleted. Exploded democracy!
Guys, watch this. Oh my god! Oh, they just broke through. I'm out of here. I'm going back to Rocket. Get out of there, Rocket. Yeah, that was your boy. That was your boy. And these things will go in the water. They're not afraid of it. I don't know where this guy is. Oh, fuck! Nope.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh
Nope.
shit, oh shit, oh shit,
Nope.
oh shit!
Nope. Oh shit. I'm dead for sure.
Let's hear the samples.
What's that? I grabbed these samples.
Right. Get me in. Give me a real gun. If you have one up.
Come on, come
Negative
on.
7 minutes.
Sucker. Dasha. What up, y'all? Welcome into the stream. Sorry it took a second to go live, but here we go.
Hi, hello, and welcome to our third Dune Awakening stream here live from our offices in Oslo. I'm Natasha Rösli, Senior Global Peer Manager here at Funcom, and I'm going to be your host for tonight. I'm very excited because we have lots of things to go over, but first, let's talk beta. We have, if you haven't heard it, we have a large-scale beta coming up from the 9th to the 12th of May, and you have several opportunities to get a key for that beta. First, you can request access to that beta on our Dune Awakening Steam page. You can also go to our website and request beta access from the website directly, or you should keep an eye on your favorite streamer, content creator, because they might have keys to give away as well. Last but not least, we will have a global broadcast from PAX East and from London, actually, on the 10th of May, and you will also have the opportunity to get some keys during that specific broadcast. So there's many opportunities. Make sure to try one or several of them to get higher chances at a key. With that out of the way, what the segments that we have coming up today are the following. We will be talking about building. We will also be talking about narrative and story. We will also be talking about the Landsrat and the exchange. We will also have a contest for the building segment. And during our Q&A, we also will have a raffle where we give away some special edition for the game. So stay tuned for that as well. As always, remember, we will be collecting questions during the stream. Our community team will collecting questions, and those should be in relations to what we actually discuss, to the segments that we're discussing. Yes, I think that's pretty much everything. So before we dive into the building segment, let's watch a brand new video.
Dude, I just know this game is going to be unbelievable. They're hyping it up so much.
The only hope for survival is to take shelter.
And now that they're releasing a lot of footage of the game, it looks really good.
Unbridled elements is death. But walls alone will not save you from the maelstrom. You need power and the engineering of Cho to raise a protective shield against the storm. Without such protection, even the strongest walls will erode and fail in time, as will anything left in the open. Your exposed vehicle is beyond repair, but a lesson is learned. You need better protection against the dangers of Arrakis. It's time to upgrade your base. Base construction and expansion can be done alone or together with others. With Solido projections, building as a group is easy. To further customize,
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of different levels of building too, like a bunch of different pieces of building equipment.
The Atreides welcome your aid. Swear your fealty to the Atreides and rise to greatness on Arrakis. Your base serves as a reflection of both your influence and your allegiance to a faction. The safety provided by your base allows you to craft powerful new tools, technologies, and...
Oop.
Here we are crafting a ground car. Once each part of your vehicle is assembled, you can install modules to enhance its specialization further and customize its appearance. By aligning with the Atreides, you have earned the option to craft their faction-specific ground car.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
On the horizon, another sandstorm approaches. But this time, you are prepared.
Yeah, so those things, these things are like, they catch water, I think.
And a custom-built garage
They
that
catch
will keep
water.
all your vehicles safe from the raging storm. The shields are vital, but they come with a cost. With a construction of this size, the Emperor demands a tax to keep your
Yeah, and you have
base
to pay
running.
taxes.
You will construct grand bases. And in Dune Awakening, you will have the option to share them with others if you choose.
Building copied.
All your creations can be recorded as blueprints. These can be shared with allies, or even bought and sold on the exchange.
That's pretty cool.
Anyone holding a blueprint can instantly place
I
a
knew that,
projection
but
of the
that's the first
entire
time I've
building
seen it.
and construct an exact copy for themselves. Dune Awakening's building system allows for limitless creativity. Build your foundations strong, for your walls must stand against the unfathomable forces of Arrakis. Your Arrakis.
Dope.
Welcome back. I have now two very exciting guests with me to talk about the building and actually quite a few things that we've seen in the video a little bit in more detail. Welcome, you two. So on my side here, I have Leo Welter, who some of you might recognize we had on stream earlier with Joel in one of our segments. Would you like to introduce yourself quickly?
Yes, I'm Leo. I'm a lead game designer on Dune Awakening, and I'm responsible for building and social systems.
Yes, and then we have
So
a
this
new
is the
face,
last
on the
stream they're doing
on
too.
the side there, Tor Egil Andersen,
So this
also
is it.
known as Mr. Legendary Tor Egil for some on the Discord, because he's actually the one who does all the magic for when you see buildings in like marketing material, in videos or on screenshots. That's basically the person who makes them. He's absolutely amazing when it comes to building. So it's definitely a good person to talk to us about building today. Welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I'm Tor Egil. I've been with Funcom since 2011, and I'm the senior content manager on the marketing team. So usually when you see something built or you see
And
videos
so
or
many
images,
people in this
I'm involved
studio
with
have
that.
been there for so long.
Absolutely. Like I said, magic.
Like,
So,
there's not a lot of people who
when we talk building
are
system,
new. At least
we should probably
not a
also
lot of
talk about
forward-facing
what is the
people
goal
who are
with the
new.
building system and kind of how does it differ from, let's say, Conan Excels, for example.
Yeah.
Leo.
Yeah, so for the building system, two things we really wanted to emphasize is that on one hand, we want to retain the freedom that you had in Conan Exiles, right? So you can build quite a lot without restriction, but on the other hand, we also wanted to make sure that building worked on another level of persistence that we have in Dune Awakening, right? So some restrictions were necessary there. So we wanted to make sure that those two things worked hand in hand.
Yeah, because you have a seamless world and it's very heavy on your system as well otherwise. Yeah, I think when it comes to quality of life improvements, is there anything that you feel we learned from Conan Exiles that like goes into Dune Awakening?
So the building system in Conan Exiles evolved through many, many years, and that also taught us much for Dune Awakening. So I felt we've taken those learnings and put them
Damn,
in
dude,
here.
how did all
And,
these
so it's a
messages just
bit of an,
appear all of a
evolvement
sudden?
of the Conan
Holy
Exiles
shit,
building system.
what the fuck?
But it's also
Weird.
It allows us to basically take those learnings, but also expand the system with
What up, Fight Like Hell?
more unique building pieces, more unique styles, and
It
make
is now.
flow
It is
easier
now.
as you
It
build.
wasn't.
So now Conan Exiles is unique in that it has through 8 years been adding dozens of building sets.
I don't know
so
why it
we're not there
wasn't.
yet on Dune Awakening, obviously. But we have 4 at launch, and we're going to keep adding, as we go on.
And of course, one of the differences that was mentioned is the land claim and the sub-fief basically that you place down. I think we should just jump into the game and actually show what that looks like and how you start.
Let's do that.
Yes. Let's do that.
So then, you're not quite dead.
We can just start explaining what we're going
Yeah,
to do.
so-
we're basically going to build a base together with
Yeah.
the
Okay,
friend
now we
coming
see
here.
it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we have two ground cars out here, and we're looking for a spot to build our base.
Yeah, and then we see Camille waving for us.
Yeah. So the way we start with that is we find a good spot, and then we start by placing our subfief console, which is how we claim a piece of land.
One thing to keep in mind there is that you see these outlines, and you can see where there's red, there is a point of interest, NPC camp, something like that, so you cannot build there. But the other places you can build.
Okay.
So we're going to place this. At the moment, I have this
Control base, control center of a base where you manage player permission, storage, land claim is an area around where you can build.
Yep. So later on in progression, you'll unlock the advanced subfief console, which can claim a larger piece of land, which is the one you can see here. And that one can also be expanded to an even greater area.
Okay.
Or it can be expanded vertically as well, if you want to do that. All right, so now that we have the subfief console here, what you can do is add the other player here to its permission list, and that will give them access to it as well. So now they're an associate, you can elevate them to co-owner level of permission, and they'll give them increased rights to perform various activities on the base.
Tax
Now,
is
this
due
is
in
the
5
base management
days.
screen, as we call it, and here you can see details such as the name of the base up in the left corner, which can be changed as well. Yeah, you can see that there.
Oh,
So
that's
choose
cool.
Whatever name you like.
You can
and,
rename the base.
you
That's
can
dope.
choose if it's your respawn location or not. You see some stats about the base there, the area and the number of objects of various categories against the current cap. And the cap that you see there is also expanded when you.
So
when
that's
you're
how many
expanding.
Solaris you have to pay per
And then you have
week.
some
Per
field
cycle is per
status,
week.
Information as well
5
there.
days, 17
And the
hours,
base
46
shields,
minutes.
Once they're up, they will protect your base against storm damage.
Yeah, this is crucial though,
Yeah.
to have your shields active. Otherwise, your base will start deteriorating.
Also,
Yeah.
we see a tax area there as well, of
Yeah.
course, for the
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah, so the advanced subfief console is taxed on a cycle, and yeah, if you don't end up paying that, then you'll lose your shield privileges.
Yeah, that's not good.
Which will mean that the base will start taking damage.
It's like the
And that's
base,
sort of a maintenance cost for it.
right? And also, like the base subfief is not taxed.
No, the first subfief is not taxed, so only when you progress further into the
Right, right, right.
Right now, I'm claiming more land, which is something you can do with the advanced subfief console. So I'm gonna claim this land, and as we play, Camille is also gonna claim some more. You can keep advancing, expanding your base until you have 6 land claims. So it's quite a big area.
Yeah, that's
Not infinite,
huge.
obviously, but it's still quite big.
That's
Yeah, you
huge.
have the staking unit working
Yeah,
over
that
there,
is a
right? And
fucking
the more segments you've claimed,
massive
the
claim of
longer
land
this
for
will take,
one
right? And
person.
if this was a PvP area, this is a process that can be fought over, right?
Yeah, you see you have a countdown here. And Camille has started to build here, so we can build our base together. That's a good thing in the game here. Let me just
This
show you
is-
the
it's
basics
huge.
building here.
I think it's also
Like,
important
do
to
you-
mention that you can claim not
It's
just
crazy that
vertical,
you
but
need
also
something that
horizontal.
big.
Yeah, you can expand in
Yes.
in either dimension, right? So you
Mm.
can.
And that's a very good point, because you can keep on building high. Like you can build super cool bases on top of these peaks, find a nice elevated place, and just build a cool base. And we're gonna see examples of that,
Yes.
later.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have to expand horizontally if you don't want to. You could expand vertically and get what you need in terms of caps from that as well.
Yeah, and here.
Like, how many
Camille has
spice
placed some,
harvesters do you need to put
projections.
out there?
So we can fill these. So you can just design your base and let others help construct it.
Yeah, those projections are also useful for planning out your design if you don't have enough resources available.
And also we see you like put out foundations first here to kind of have some stability going. Mm.
Yeah, that's where the
Yeah, so this guy's
stability
not.
comes from
This
the
guy's
foundations and,
building
and from that point
from
you can
scratch. He's not building
expand
off
further
something
with
that's
walls
already
and
done.
structures.
So an important thing your base is going to need is power, as we talked about, to power the shields. So I'm going to place a generator here. Now you can't get power from nothing. You have to have fuel for it. But we have a bit here, so I'm going to add the fuel.
Also, I just want to mention that we're actually cheating here a little bit. So we have dehydration off, and we also don't have sunstroke.
Yeah.
So just so you know, just so makes it easier for us
Yeah,
to actually show.
what is the armor this guy's wearing too? He looks like he's wearing like Black
You can see from
Panther
the
armor.
generator there and on the subfief console effect that you have underneath there.
So, and you can move things you placed. You can't move building pieces, but you can move your placeables. And you can also easily, you can see here on my right side, I can control what I want to do. Piece picker, repair, move, demolish, or build. And this is very, very handy, and you can just, on a mouse and keyboard, you can just swap between it with a right click. So with piece picker, you can easily pick the piece you want.
So storage,
And now
that's
you have
storage.
Yeah, that's how we allow you to do most building-related activities just with the use of one tool.
And demolish, the moment you remove a piece, you get full refund on the resources.
Which I personally love.
Yeah.
Because it just makes it like, so you don't make mistakes and you get like punished for it. Or
Yeah.
It's not a disaster.
Yeah,
I
that
love
is
that.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And also we've now put down some storage chests, as you can see, which is very cool as well because you can actually craft but also build straight out of those storage chests.
Yes, it will automatically take the resources you have.
Yeah. As long
Now,
of course,
I've
as you
watched
do have,
a
those
couple people
resources
build, and you want
collected as you have them available.
double
And,
doors.
Talking about that, we have Camille, who is now also
on the
going
first
out
floor,
to harvest some resources for us.
so you can get your vehicles in and out.
Show some more things. He's on the way to collect some granite.
Here you can see another building set being used as well.
Yeah. I started dipping into the Chome foundation here. So at the moment we have the starter building set is the Chome shelter.
Okay, and now we are actually switching over to Camille.
Yeah.
What?
So we actually do see him
Okay, different
driving
person.
the mining buggy.
Out looking for some resources.
Yes.
So let's see what we find.
Yeah, let's see.
As you can see, has
I'd
a
like
mining
to see
turret on
this.
top there.
That's a mining turret. Okay.
So this is a more advanced version of mining, right? So you can drive around. You're looking for some resource node or some wreck that you want to mine from. And once you find something you like this node here, you can just jump into the turret and mine it for some resources. And this is a lot more effective than doing it on foot.
He's doing it on his own now, but of course you can do it with a friend, so one can drive and the other one can use the turret.
For sure.
But he's in the wrong spot.
And he's missing a bit there. You need to back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is cool if you have one driver and one miner.
Yeah, it's
So
easier
it's-
than
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So that makes it a bit easier. But
Carbon ore.
It's possible with just one
efficient.
person.
Damn,
Yes,
that's
it's more efficient, you get more material.
that's
So you mine some carbon here.
that's actually pretty cool.
All right. Now, are we heading back or looking for more resources? See what we find.
So he's driving in Jabal Afrit now, which is above the rift. So you can see there's a lot of elevation here. This is a cool place to build tall buildings. Or I like building bases hanging out over ledges, for example, can be very fun.
Yeah, you can build up on those spires if you want to, and
Yeah, I think we can go back and do some more building.
Yes. Okay. So we were talking about the different building sets. Right now we're showing off the CHOAM sets. As I said, you start with this one, CHOAM shelter. The next one here is CHOAM facility. These you can learn with just progressing basically. But in addition, you have Atreides and Harkonnen building pieces. And for these, you got to align with one of the factions.
Yeah, so you progress from one to the other, and then you can pick one of the faction sets, and depending on which faction you align to.
So we're going to show much more of Harkonnen and Atreides later. I have ready-made bases to show from that. As you can, so Arna didn't get the angle right, so then you just demolish and you just build again. There you go. And in Dune Awakening, it's just, you can see we've added more and more, expanded from Conan Exiles. So there are basically building pieces for every slot. If you have a hole in your building, there is a piece for it.
So you actually expanded on the type of pieces that you can have while building.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of piece varieties.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I quite like, for example, the half height. So you have half height walls. This will
half
work
wall
well with the roofs, because some of them are not just flat. They are they build up, you know, one half height. So you can see here. Let's see. One more.
Come on.
There.
There you go.
So you have basically a piece for every slot.
You may also note that if you're familiar with Exile's building, that the building pieces here are quite a bit bigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
That really helps with repetition. If you're building a base and you feel that the pieces just keep repeating and it, you know, becomes a bit boring, with the bigger pieces you get less of that. So it's more visually interesting.
Yeah, and it also helps when you're building a huge base, because you want to accommodate the vehicles that we see there, or even
this
bigger
is why,
vehicles that we
like,
have.
being able to copy paste, so you build something that's dope, you can just copy paste it, so you and then you can
the second tier has
build it really quick.
different colors.
So you build something really cool once, and then you can something like really useful once.
They have very different colors and looks.
But like your
and they
first
have
base, from what I understand, like
pieces.
it needs to be small. It's not going to be big, because you're going to be breaking it down pretty quickly and moving to the next area.
Open areas, so you can basically build.
And I've been watching a lot of videos on like how to get the sand bike quick. Like the sand bike can take 10 hours, but it can also take like an hour and a half or 2 hours. So I've been watching videos on how to get it very quickly.
Later also, but especially things like the gates are massive and iconic. So the Atreides gate, for example, has a huge hawk on it, while the Harkonnen one has a big face. So we're going to show them in bases later.
Yeah. The higher end pieces, or the higher end sets, also have quite a bit more pieces than the lower end sets.
Here you can see the Harkonnen walls, for example. We can just place one here now, just to take a quick look.
There's a wall in Camille there.
Yes.
It's quite a different style.
You see the style is completely
Yeah, it is very different. That's cool. That's the first time I've seen that.
Structure here will allow tons of creativity, because you can make all sorts of shapes. You can put these on tops of your bases or on the bottom, and we'll see a lot of that in that the players have built.
Yes,
also
I was
later.
just about to mention that we'll actually see that later on when we do show some buildings that our beta testers have built in the beta. Yeah, so once you have your build, of course, you start to also add machinery, right? Like to really establish your base.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's lots to choose from here. For example, we have shown a little bit of power generation. We can place a wind
What up,
turbine
guest
here.
man? Wind
So
turbines.
This will allow us to get more power.
Yeah, it's the next level of progression from the generator.
Okay, so that will generate power.
generates a bit more efficient.
That's
And You
good.
can see there are different tiers, right?
So you don't have to worry about constantly fueling it. It can fuel
And
itself.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yes, they get really big. This is something really helpful in the
Wind
game.
trap.
This wind trap, it will help gather water for you.
Water.
So it
Yeah,
will
yeah, yeah.
automate survival a little bit. You don't have to go
Yeah,
out, hunt
exactly.
for so much water. You will be able to find it in your base, and it will fill cisterns that you can place.
Cisterns.
Also
Yeah, again,
for
it's
water.
a bit more convenient to deal with the water
Yeah.
pressure as you go along.
I saw that in the last stream.
Because you have to make sure you have more power, you have enough power,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that they're all on the right circuit and all that. So
Yeah.
the bigger you build, the more kind of management is
Yeah.
also asked of you.
Right, there you have a fabricator. So this is the first one you'll get access to, and this one can be used to fabricate basic equipment from different categories. So
Light
let's see how that
dart,
looks.
smaller pistol.
Yeah, so we can just start making making a pistol, for example, and you can see it actually. You see it forming as
Yeah.
it crafts.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
So, and of course, you will be able to advance with different kinds of fabricators for different purposes.
Advanced garment.
The biggest one is the
advanced vehicles.
vehicle fabricator here.
Yeah.
I
Holy
have
shit.
one in a big base we're gonna look at later, but they're hard to place. So you need a lot of room.
Yeah, so this first one can be used to craft from many different categories, right? But as you go deeper into the technology,
They
then
become more
you'll branch
specialized.
out and build more specific
Yeah.
fabricators. For example, this one specialized for garments, and then you have other ones for weapons or vehicles,
Interesting.
as you saw.
And as you craft, you're gonna need more and more resources. So there are refineries and for
Large
example, here we
ore
have,
spice refinery.
refineries.
Damn.
Place one of them. The biggest
Wow.
one of them is gigantic. So you see
Now you ran out of power.
I went over my power limit, so now we need more power generation.
Okay, that's interesting.
So these are things you gotta keep in mind as you build
So
and as you expand.
generate more power,
There's
bro.
information on this Thief as well. You can actually
Yes.
check how much power is needed and
Yeah.
You can always go in here and see how you're doing.
Yeah, let's see. We're
And you can refuel all your generators from here. So if you have a huge base, lots of land claimed, you have wind turbines all over the place, you can refuel them from this one.
very
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah.
Another thing that I love too is the fact that I think I briefly mentioned it earlier as well, that you can craft from those storages that you have directly. Another thing I really love though is the fact that you can actually move those chests without having to empty them first,
Yeah.
which is something that I really appreciate.
That makes it a lot more
personally.
convenient if you want to rearrange your base. You don't
Yes,
have to
exactly.
move items out of your chests before you move them.
It's a little quality of life thing that makes
helps
such
a
a
lot.
huge difference. Yeah, absolutely.
So here, place the next tier of wind trap. As long as you have a shielded base, all your placeables, your decorations, all your utilities, they are also shielded. So
yeah,
if
but
they
what
are
it's
on the
not
roof,
showing
they
here
have
is that
protection.
he needs a roof. I've
We talked about the
seen
different,
like the sunstroke
building
hit
sets,
you
of
when
course,
you're in
and
the base
factions and things that we have for
because
right
you
now.
have no
And
roof.
from what I understand, we will also have, after release, we also have Twitch drops that will be giving you some new pieces. No, we want to spoil any more details about that, but there's opportunities for people
I can
to
say
get
I've been
new
looking
sets.
at them recently.
And they look
very nice.
amazing, don't
Yes,
they? Yeah, okay.
genuinely.
Which is a bit mean that we're saying that now without showing them, but they are actually
They're not
looking
far off,
very
though.
cool.
You know, they're
Very
gonna
cool.
come.
That's not that far off. That's
We'll
true,
see them
that's true.
soon, right?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. So I'm personally very excited about that too, and it looks very cool. That's specific.
Lots of
In
lighting.
addition to building pieces, there's a lot of decorations, obviously. Right now, you can see decorations here from both Chome, Atreides, and Harkonnen. We're going to show bases with rooms decorated with these soon, so don't worry, you're going to see them all placed out. You can have wall decorations, carpets. So yeah, there's lots to look forward to here. Yeah, a unique and just remember the pieces will keep on coming.
I don't know that I'll.
All right.
Yeah, I know,
do we
dude.
wanna talk
The
copying
customization is insane in this
let's do it.
game.
So in my inventory, I have a base copied already that I
Okay, this is what I want to see. I
building
want to
for.
see this.
And it is here.
Solido replicator.
So here you
There's
can
his
see,
base.
a base I
Holy
built.
shit.
And as long as you have this item and you have enough land claim, you can now place out the projection of this base.
Yeah, so the way this works is that you can craft one of those Solido replicators, and with that you can then copy a design of a previous base and place it somewhere else.
Not
And
enough
or you can sell
support.
it to someone or
Foundation
Yeah,
beneath.
we
Someone else,
yes, we actually
whatever you
talked
wanna
about
do
that
with
as
it.
well in one of the later segments. Exactly.
Well, let's see it.
That's
So
very
here you
important.
can see me placing the base I was just previewing. So first you gotta try and adjust it to find a spot, and once you place it, you can then confirm. So now it is placed. Now I cannot see it anymore, but the moment I build my building tool up, I put it here. Now I can see the outline
You
of this
see the
base,
outlines, yeah.
and I can start filling in the pieces. Now, even if I copied it and I placed it out, you still need
To build it.
place out
Each
the
piece.
building pieces. Like you don't get them for free, right? You have to place them in place.
Yeah.
And this base is basically, the idea of it is that it's a forward operating base that could be very handy for the deep desert, because it has several places for shielded ornithopters, and basically a core structure that has a lot of room for crafting machines and stuff like that.
We can actually show that, because we have a video prepared for what it actually looks like once you have it completely built again.
Yes.
yeah, that'll save you a lot of time
And
each
there
week.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there it is. I mean, that's a
That's a great
that's
looking
for
base.
Eagle magic right
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So it gives you an opportunity to see like all the things that you can do. You have like
Yeah.
those different doors here that you can actually just fly in or drive through without having to open and close, even though
Look at
they're,
that
like,
big
kinda-
ass.
Yeah.
You can't go in there if you
Those
don't have permission.
pentashields.
Look at that big
Pentashields,
ass
exactly.
green ornithopter right
You
here.
see
Yeah.
the big wind traps on the side. Those are
That's
actually
that's a
wind
ship
traps, wind turbines.
right
Yeah.
there.
And so here's the interesting part. You can build creatively just for beauty's sake, or you can build very, efficiently and just make a box. That's up to you. And here I sort of combined it a bit. I made it reasonably concise, square
Yeah,
shape
dude,
to
my
be
shit's
easier
gonna
to
be
place out.
insane.
And but still, I've added a little bit of flourish here. You can see especially the Atreides pieces, the wings, which is a
Yeah.
unique Atreides feature here, and the gate you see there. But it's of course functional for the deep desert with the ornithopters.
Through the
and you have
access
room for them.
points, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
on the roof. And also like they lend itself really well to like kind of mirror like buildings,
Yeah,
those specific
it does.
pieces, which is very
And
cool.
you see those
Yeah.
pentashields there, they fully protect you against the shields and protect against the storms.
Yes.
And they protect the vehicles against the storm
Yeah.
damage as well.
So just make sure you have enough power and
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing is you need to have
so,
enough
We
power.
can actually now switch again and check out some other faction buildings.
Yes. So right now,
Damn,
we've
look at
moved
that.
a little bit. I just got to get out of the sand here. The worm is prowling.
That's dangerous.
Yes. I'm
But
close
see,
enough
this
to land
is
here.
this
that-
base is
that's
so
close to the
dependent
sand, though,
on
by the way,
the
so-
It's risky.
So
Mhm.
here I
rocky
built a base,
surface.
with the two different chome sets. So we're gonna get a better look at it. I'm gonna fly.
It's
up
like
on
this
top
looks
later,
dope,
we
but
can
he
see,
built it into the rock,
outline
so
here.
that's
You
gonna
can see
change
some
every week.
Banners, things like that.
He won't be able to
Buggy
find that
engines here,
same rock
and pentashield protects
the
it.
next week.
So we're gonna head in.
A lot of machinery going on there as well.
Yeah.
Refinery there.
Spice refinery,
Little picnic
buggies,
table in the middle, I like it. And here we have
couches.
So here we have chome decorations, which I really like.
Now that
Walls
stuff I
here,
don't think I'll care as much
and you can
about
really, if you
Sorry,
want to,
70s. isn't it?
because
Like
you
a little bit,
don't
or is it
need
yeah,
it.
70s,
It
yeah.
there's
Yeah,
no
that's
function
good
to
one.
it.
Yeah.
Like the
bookshelves
bookcases and
here.
all that shit. It has
so
no
you
fun
see,
no
like,
function
even
in the
if,
game.
okay, Dune Awakening is, it focuses on survival. You have to, beware of the sandworm, the sandstorms. You can still
Unless
do things
like
this. You can
the
still be
people who will
creative,
be doing
you can
that are
still
like
build different
crazy
what you wanna
RP,
do, and
crazy
here
role
hang out
players and
with
shit.
elevation here,
Be doing that
inside,
otherwise.
and
I
you see
don't
that as we
understand.
Get outside also.
You gotta chill sometimes too, like
Yeah,
gotta, like,
exactly.
enjoy your spiced tea and yeah.
Yes, and yes, because you can see there's lots of cutlery and cups and
Yeah,
nice
but can you
things,
even
but-
sit in the chair?
And you can just build this with your guild. And
I don't even
have a nice
think you
time.
can sit
Doesn't
in the
all
chair.
have to be about maximizing profits and fighting.
Exactly.
Nice combination with the functional downstairs there and then the sitting
But it
area
is
above.
nice.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
But again, like
I agree.
So I'm gonna head
he
off
built this
so
into
that
the
we can
rock.
Get a bit better look at.
And also really nice.
So,
to
like,
see
it's gonna
the,
change every week.
The verticality here as well, like how you can build, like also like nicely built into the mountainside here.
Yes, and we'll see that as I get into the thopter here.
So this is important. I like this. This is something I was wondering about.
The chome thopter, we're just gonna take off and take a little look at the base here. So you
Damn.
can see the combination of the two chome sets. You
The more sandy color for the basic one, and then the white one
Yeah,
for that one.
and they kind of I feel they really fit in with Dune here. The
Yeah.
style of them.
That base is
you know,
freaking
Use of
dope.
the verticality here in this
Yes.
limited space, right?
Yes, exactly. And because this is an obvious thing.
But it's gonna change every week.
But like you cannot build a base anywhere. If you build it out in the sand, it's
Well,
gonna
you
get
can,
eaten.
but
it won't last long.
you can
No.
in like.
The worm is going to have a great
practicality,
time.
but-
Yes.
Goated house for sure.
So, and up here, for example, I have a salt thopter, which is a ornithopter, which is a little bit bigger than I have here. And yeah, so you can see you can build both functionally and if you want to play around with building
It's
beautiful
dope.
things. you can
That's
do that.
dope.
So we got a peek at this base here. I built a little veranda here actually. Just
It's nice how you see
like a
those
little- yeah.
Prudence doors glowing there from a distance.
Yeah, and here you can see these unique chome pieces. For example, this here, so you
Yeah.
can have a little seating area.
The ones you mentioned earlier.
Oh, we see the worm,
Ooh,
but we are
it is
safe
close
in the air.
though. Oh my God, it's very close.
He can't get up here, so everything is all right. All right, so I'm gonna head over to an Atreides base. By the way, I have the sunset die, the swatch for the thopter. So, and this is part of the pre-order reward. So now, yeah, we see the worm below us actually. That's quite fun.
A bit too
Safe
close.
up there. So some code, you're not safe in the area if you're too close. Just we mentioned that just now. Like, yeah, if you get into the beta, you can test how close you can get with ornithopter to the zone before. To the
Yeah, I
beta.
applied for the beta. We'll see if I get in.
Thopter here has a couple of modules. It has a boost, so I can fly faster. The clue there is.
But at
not
this
to
point, I
overheat.
don't really
And I
care
have
if
a
I get
scanner.
in or I don't.
Just,
It doesn't really
scan a
matter. I
little
mean,
bit
it'd be
and then
cool to get in, I
reveals,
guess, but I don't really
resources
care.
As you go, you can see the area is quite decent on this. So we're just flying towards the shield wall. I built a big Atreides base up here.
Yeah.
He built
right
another
now,
base.
This a trade post we see in front of us.
Yeah,
this
I
is
was
an
about to say
important
that's a
location,
trade
for
post.
players because you can find trainers here. You can trade. You can find.
Now, where do you
contracts, all sorts
park
of
your
things.
It's a
ornithopter?
hub for activities
Yeah.
in the region, right?
Yeah. On our right here we have Vermilius Gap, and on our left we have Misatril and the.
Oh
Uga,
shit, is that his base
and
over
then
there?
We have the shield wall up here. So now you can actually see. You can see my base here coming into view. Built
Oh,
a
that
big
one.
Atreides base here. This is taking. This is using
Damn.
all 6 land claim areas. So this is basically it's filling out. You can build a little bit bigger, but not a lot. So, and here you can really see the verticality. You can see I built along the cliff here, and you can see the Atreides wings. So these jut out. You see the unique Atreides colors here.
That's great for that spot.
It's a nice spot, and it gives you a view of the whole, almost the whole map, right?
A new
So
really great vantage point. Yeah.
gonna settle down here. So just a quick look at here. You can see the Atreides pieces as they have been used, and these are
Really
unique.
big. They're
And
very
they have
big
unique
too.
walls, these wings, everything is unique here. So in the base here, for example, here I have the biggest vehicle fabricator right here. So it's a huge.
Well, look at that thing.
Some water storage there as well, I see.
Yeah.
Large water tanks.
And here the Atreides assault ornithopter with rocket pods there.
With
So-
rocket pods.
And, yeah, I'm just gonna I'm gonna show you a little bit.
So
on
he's
this
flexing
side.
right now for
Actually,
sure.
I want to show the front of it a little bit to show off the gate, because the Atreides gate I really love. I just want to take a quick look at it here from this side as well, because the hawk.
Yeah,
of the
people are gonna
Atreides
go
gate
crazy.
Is really, it's both creative and sort of majestic.
Wow.
How cool here, so you can see.
That's
Oh, I
insane.
forgot Harkonnen, just saying, but,
That's
Yeah,
another
show off
base.
another Harkonnen base soon also.
And like that's his second
I've been
base.
promising you some decorations, so we're gonna take a look at them. So I'm
You
just
still
gonna-
see the combination of the functional there as well, with the
Yes.
the wind traps and the turbines.
You can see the creativity here too, or
Yeah.
like the eye for building as well, because some people might just stack them next to each other somewhere down in the basement.
Yeah.
And here we have like, well, obviously not the.
You're lucky Tor Egil here isn't in the competition, right? That'd be
Well,
tough.
there's some pretty good.
There you go. We could
contestants
do
there.
that. Yeah, we could do that for the future though. Like
Mhm.
meet Tor
Maybe.
Eagle.
That'd be something.
So here
Oh,
I've
this is lovely.
decorated an Atreides room. It's using both Atreides decorations and the Caladan Palace set.
Right, the one that you get when you.
With the pre-order, yeah.
Yes, you get it in the Ultimate Edition.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
ultimate
actually
edition.
here
Oh,
we
and
have
there's
Terrarium
And the Muad'Dib as well.
You can see him in there. There he is.
Yes.
And yeah,
Another.
the Caladan Palace set is big. It has both building pieces and these decorations.
like this
so
is
I
the
can
kind of stuff I'll
show you,
probably end up
some
buying
neat things from it.
on the
For example,
exchange.
it has these
Like
unique wood
these
panels that you can put
beautiful
on your
bases.
walls. It has yeah, you can see a portrait here. I think this is Paul's grandfather, Leto.
Hmm.
Leto
Um,
the first, was it?
And
Because I'll be
yes,
too busy
uh,
PvPing and
So you
PvEing.
can see these are part of the Caladan Palace set. These nice furniture, and even some roof pieces. This roof piece, this roof piece, and these doors. So it's a fully functional, can build fully functional rooms with it. But and these holograms, you can see the decorations here. You can basically go pretty crazy.
It's gorgeous
You can
though.
put together all sorts
It's
of things,
insane.
bookcases, banners, holograms, glow globes, and up here we have a unique piece which is like a fresco. Players will be able to get access to this.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Yes. Yes.
That's a great looking piece, though.
It is though. That mural
Yeah.
is fantastic. It's very beautiful. It's really big too though. It's huge. Yeah. Yeah, this is
So-
amazing. I think we should maybe move over to a Harkonnen base now. as
Dude,
well,
tell me that doesn't look like Black Panther.
because let's go Harkonnen. No.
Yes,
It looks
we
like
have,
he's got his
See the
Black
contrast
Panther
is
outfit.
like
That's the good
contrast.
side, right?
That's the right side.
Yeah.
All right.
This is Harkonnen.
Cool.
There
at
we go.
the
Damn,
Harkonnen
that's
base now.
that's very 1984 doing
from
this.
outside the Harkonnen base.
That's
Yes, so
1984
we're
for
just gonna
sure.
Start off a little bit of interior here. So I built some nice rooms. There's the biggest spice refinery, by the way, on the right there. It's huge.
You
That
need
is
space
huge.
For that one.
Yes, a massive base. You
Quite
need
a
that.
few stories tall, that one.
Yes. Yeah. You need space.
Damn, you need a lot of spice for that.
But yeah, we can see we're inside the Harkonnen structure. We're gonna see it from the outside also, and then we can take a look at the unique Harkonnen decorations. So, for example, straight ahead here, I have a little bedroom. You can see bed, and the style is very different.
Very dark.
Yes.
It is.
But it has a lot of unique details.
More
And the-
rounder shapes.
It's
as
just more
well.
organic, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Much
while
more.
the Atreides one is very
Yeah.
like military, very like edges and
So a little office here, and on the left, put in a few more lights with holograms and like a dining area here. So you see it has a fully fledged set of decorations. I think you have to, you have to align with the faction to unlock these, and then you purchase them from their quartermasters, right, Leo?
Yes, exactly.
That's pretty cool.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
You have to work your way up the
You
ranks.
can take a quick trip outside. You can, Camille here, he has a Harkonnen ornithopter.
Oh, my favorite.
So
that's a nice looking one.
I love that so much because it actually looks like a dragonfly. It actually looks like an insect. It's
And
so interesting.
you get that in the same way, right? Progressing through the ranks and unlocking it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Damn, look at that, dude.
You
Holy.
have a ground section, and then as you go
That
up,
looks like Harkonnen.
up on the ledge there, I built another base basically, but they're all connected. If you keep to
Wow.
the same grid, you can connect over.
Look
big
at that
areas and
shit.
vertically. So this is just a tip to if you're in a building.
This
just
is
keep
all
on the
one
same grid,
base.
keep everything connected, and it will all match up. So you can see the unique round pieces here. Of
And imagine
Harkonnen
having to
arrows.
rebuild
They
that
created those big
in a
heads
week.
are really awesome.
I agree.
And the gate with the
Like,
huge
yeah, that's
trees.
cool, but then in a week it all
see
goes
there?
bye-bye and you have to rebuild it.
Yeah, this is an amazing looking base.
It is though. Like
The
it's
first time I
huge.
saw it, I could hardly believe it.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
also
no,
it's
this
so much
they're
bigger than
flexing
this.
for
You're
sure.
like really outside in the
But like
ornithopter, and
I
it
keep
actually
saying, dude,
really
Yeah.
massive. It's super massive.
you have to rebuild
But
this
shows
every
you can
week.
Really be creative here.
Yes.
Find a cool place, start building, and especially if you get into building, if you get a bit, experienced, you can do this in not too long. Like if you have the resources, I can build this in maybe a day.
A
and
day.
maybe a little bit more, but
Yeah.
Exactly.
quite quickly.
And it's really
Well, you're very
tailored here.
experienced as well. Yeah.
I have built. It has helped building.
Dude, he's the head building
dozens of
for the
things
entire
in
fucking game. I hope he can build this
But,
shit.
It's still, it's a thrill always to build in Dune Awakening, I think.
Talking about creativity, we have actually done a call to action in our internal beta, and we asked everyone really, we asked everyone in the beta to send us their buildings. So we're gonna do a contest now where Twitch chat, unfortunately, our bot is not working on YouTube for whatever reason. We apologize for that, but Twitch can vote. We will show you. We picked 5 of our favorites that were submitted, and we will let you vote in chat.
Okay,
the first
vote.
prize will get a Ultimate Edition for Dune Awakening, and the 4 runner-ups will all get a Deluxe Edition. Wait, what was that? Sorry. Yes.
So that's
So
mine
that's
again.
base
There we go.
number A.
There we
So
go.
There we go.
So now we go. Now we have it. So if you want
So
to
this is a
do
base.
exclamation
Damn,
mark
that's
A,
somebody's
B,
base.
C, D, or
It's
E
pretty nice.
in chat, and then you vote. for
Okay,
that
that's
specific
A.
building. But obviously, wait until we see all of them, and then start voting.
That's
Yeah, a
nice.
Harkonnen style base.
Yeah, that's
Very
nice.
huge.
Yeah.
So you can see the round shapes. It's
This is amazing.
I
Just
captured-
this view is really
I
fantastic.
captured this video yesterday, and there's lots of cool bases here, and they're really big. And just a thing to point out here, the servers are so full of bases. You see them everywhere basically. So it's really awesome to see how much people are building.
Also,
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that we have actually mostly judged by the look from the outside, plus
Yeah,
also
classic for sure.
accessibility, how it will kind of work in the setup and everything, how it was built in the terrain, because we didn't really have as much. What is it called? We didn't.
Focus on
focus
interior.
that much on interior because not everyone had access to those. So we apologize for that in advance, and we definitely have more opportunities down the line.
Damn, this is
So here
cool.
We have another Atreides space.
Yeah, and Submission B here has built.
I have to say
along,
A is
the
better.
road, similar to what I did for the Atreides space. You can get like a really nice view.
But this is nice.
like,
This is nice.
overhanging the edge. And yeah, it's pretty big also this.
But A is
You can see
better.
the unique Atreides pieces.
But this is very cool.
It's really cool to see how creative the players are, and
Absolutely.
and as you know, after launch we'll just see more and more of it.
Also, this one A
Yes.
Damn.
fantastic
Great looking one.
point.
Oh,
a
this is
fantastic
C.
point as well
Okay.
to choose for your building because it has such an amazing view from up there.
I still say
This
A is
showing
the
how
best.
you can use even the
Beautiful.
angular pieces to make a bit more organic shapes on a larger scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which they clearly have done here.
In this base, they've actually combined a little bit of Harkonnen with Atreides.
Oh,
Yeah, this is
This
nice.
is possible if you
Pipitray.
This is nice,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
A,
But
still
yeah,
A.
this is built in the Udam, so it's a very creative region there.
Also, this
Damn,
one,
this is nice.
obviously, maybe
That's Atreides for
hard
sure.
to tell which faction this is for.
Yeah.
The eagle here is quite
It's a
stunning.
little
I
bit of a
think.
giveaway,
Yeah.
regarding
The Atreides
what
Hawk, I
faction
mean,
that
yeah.
is. Very cool.
I think D
This one-
might
this one
this
has a good interior also. This
Yeah,
base,
this-
so I
Yes.
this
did
might be
a picture
better.
Here going up,
This is
going
pretty
up a
cool.
bit, yeah.
You see
just
that?
because of the
Great balconies
eagle that they
here, too. Yeah.
built.
It's just a really great
Ho!
usage of the space as well. And here we have another Harkonnen one.
We have a huge garage there, it looks
Yeah.
like, as well. That's
Really
nice.
fly top
That's
is,
fucking cool.
That's
It's
great.
like you can
Holy
actually
shit,
put the
that
carrier
looks
and so
very
on.
cool.
This is built in the very corner of
E
the shield wall. and
looks
there
cool.
You can see a really nice interior there.
This is my favorite so far.
So, it's a huge base. The tower.
Harkonnen
is
has cooler
really
stuff, but
yeah.
Harkonnen's evil.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, remember, if you just increase your base, the
E
land
for
size
sure
vertically,
so
you can
far.
keep on building up.
So, as I mentioned, we have actually chosen 5 that we showed you now, but we also want to show you some of the honorable mentions that we really liked as well, but they didn't make it into the top 5.
Wow,
This is
look at
fantastic
that.
as well.
Yeah,
It's very creative.
very
Pineapple.
spiky. Yeah,
This is fantastic as well.
yeah,
It's very creative.
very
Pineapple.
spiky. Yeah,
Porcupine, like a pineapple.
Wasn't there like there was a little thing that I think Ignacy wanted to put on this? It's like, is this the fit? There we go.
Yeah,
Favorite
there we go.
pizza topping? It's okay.
that's great.
Perfect. Favorite pizza topping? There is no discussion.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, look
Pineapple
at
balls
that.
on pizza.
Yeah,
This is really cool
it-
too.
yeah,
Very
it-
creative.
It's built with Atreides pillar foundations to make this sort of lattice work here.
I
It's
love
very
that.
creative.
I love that a lot. as
Just a
well.
bit of a cage feeling to it.
It shows you
Yeah.
can just go nuts if you want to.
And this one, of
Yes.
course.
Oh, wow.
Like the
Looks like a scorpion. Yeah, scorpion.
just absolutely crazy. Like,
It's really
That's
cool.
very
got-
creative.
and
Yeah.
that's like the beta testers. Imagine once the game releases and we have like
That's
maybe
incredible.
millions, I don't know, people play a game. But it's like I just can't wait to see what players will create. I mean, this is just
This one I hear is a dedicated toilet.
that's a toilet.
Yes. So I did take
That's
a photo
funny.
myself there.
That's funny. A toilet. That's funny.
So-
That's
Love it.
nice for the passerby, right?
Yeah.
That's a worm.
And then a
Sandworm.
little homage to Shai Hulud, obviously.
Yeah, that's cool.
So creative.
yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
really cool.
After being eaten too many times.
Yeah, I know. It's
Please
just
not
like,
again. I'll build a statue.
It's like a prayer thing. It's
Yeah.
like if I'm.
A shrine.
All right, so we are closing the poll in a few seconds, and it seems we have a clear winner, actually. Yeah, so it looks like.
Let's see.
Do we have the
he was-
results?
I think he was
I wonder who it is.
46% for option C. Can we show that again,
Oh,
maybe?
wow.
That's the pineapple.
Yeah, so C is the base built in Udam. This
There
one.
we
we
go.
go.
Yes.
Congratulations
Nice.
to option C.
Wow.
Who won
It's really
See,
good.
I don't think that was the best
the
one.
edition of Dune Awakening. And everyone else in those top 5, like the 4 runner-ups, will get a deluxe edition as well. So thank you so much. And also, we have a surprise for the honorable mentions. They will all get a standard edition as well. Plus, a little surprise for everyone in the beta who has submitted a build who didn't make it into the stream. We have a little surprise for you as well. More on that in the Discord, though. There will be a message for you later.
A small comment on the winner there. It was a lot of decorated interiors also, so
Yes.
that base had.
Yeah, I
the
think E
builder
was
had
the best.
Really put effort in here.
Yes, I'm actually, I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit sad that we couldn't put more weight on interior design, but it was just not fair to the ones who didn't have those unlocked. So we couldn't really do that. Again, as I mentioned, you'll have more opportunities, but some of the interior designs that we saw in the submissions are absolutely mind-blowing. And maybe we will probably have, I would assume we will have a post sometime down the line where we show those buildings a little bit more and also like show some of the interior design. I think that would be very cool.
Like the fact that they're showing so much of their game just
wrap up the building segment here.
just tells me that they're very confident that they built something badass.
About, building. And we are going into the next segment, which is story and narrative. And for that, we actually gonna watch another trailer first.
Okay. Oh, now we're gonna watch this.
So then, you're not quite dead.
Great plots are afoot in the Imperium.
Dude, I cannot wait for this. Fuck, I'm so excited.
Threads of intrigue run deeply. You will go to Arrakis as our agent. You have one task. Find the Fremen. Wake the sleeper.
You were sighted fleeing the scene of a terrible crash. Who are you?
You've heard the expression, the spice must flow. I am the man who ensures that it continues to do so.
I dreamed of you. Birthed in fire. Twin comets in the sky. The seer of lies.
What's up?
I am terrified of what happens when you awaken.
We've all lost our way.
My journey begins June 5th. How many days from now is that?
Every person carries their past with them.
37 days. I can't wait. Holy fuck, I can't wait. Ooh, Shai Hulud. Okay.
And welcome back after this fantastic trailer. It's probably one of my favorite trailers because I am very much interested in the story and cinematics as well. And I'm very excited to have two guests here now with me to talk about just that. So first of all, we have Leah Talbot, Associate Lead Narrative Designer. Leah, you
Dang,
want
it's
to introduce yourself quickly?
It's like the first girl I've seen.
I'm Leah Talbot, so I've been working at Funcom for about 2 years now. And yeah, before that, I worked for a couple of years at Ubisoft, same.
Ubisoft? Uh-oh. Ubisoft.
Now. I'm very happy to be
She's all behind me now. That's behind me now. She's very happy to be at Funcom, she said. I bet she is. Ubisoft's a piece of shit.
Character narrative and cinematics as well, so he has lots to talk to us about as well. Niels?
A little bit of everything. Hello, I'm Nils. I've been with Funcom for, I think...
Yeah, she used to work at Ubisoft. Ubisoft, yeah.
For this, I worked at Paradox Interactive.
Paradox?
Also stolen away by the greedy Norwegians. But very happy to be
sorry,
here.
Not sorry.
Yeah, Funcom. I think this is a good studio. Like,
of course, we also have to talk.
Everybody
about
appears happy to be here.
The
alternative timeline. Yes, and it's a little bit of a edge to walk. It's a bit of a balance for us, of course, because we want to talk about.
And Niles, Niles definitely likes to go to Norwegian black metal concerts.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So if you haven't seen some of the cinematics yet, basically you will basically be exploring the universe of Dune as you already know it. However,
She's
as
French.
opposed to the story of the books, the movies that you all already know, this version of the Dune universe is a bit different because of one
A little
big...
A little bit.
Just a tad.
Just a little bit. A little bit different.
Oh, yes, a little bit different because of one major event.
No
One
Paul
choice that
Atreides.
Jessica made to bear a daughter instead of a
I don't want
boy.
peace. I want problems, always.
In this timeline of ours. So this, in turn, allowed Jessica to be rewarded with training as a truthsayer by the Bene Gesserit, the order to which she belongs. And this knowledge has allowed her to see through Dr. Yue's deception, and this is how the Atreides were warned ahead of time
Right.
of what was going to happen, and they managed to survive the battle of Arrakeen. So in our timeline, Duke Leto is alive.
Right. Duncan Idaho's alive.
Around, and the Harkonnen as well, because they are not giving up on Arrakis. They are very set on claiming the planet back. And this is basically where we start up in the game. We are stuck in a universe where those two houses are still embroiled in a long war, a very long conflict. And this is basically where we are launching the players. So you'll be meeting a lot of the characters that you already know. Some of them are still alive, like I don't know, Peter de Vries, who wasn't killed at the beginning of the story.
Duncan, Idaho.
Minor spoiler.
Duncan, Idaho.
I mean, the whole Harkonnen house is around, so
Yeah.
well.
So there's
You'll
a
see.
lot of characters that you can actually meet that
Yeah.
might not be around otherwise.
That's
But
right.
also there was a specific decision why we actually did that, right? Maybe Niels, you can comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So really everything with this alternate timeline is built around the idea that we need to get some kind of player agency into the game, right? So people familiar with the books or with the movies know that Paul, inevitably becomes the Kwisatz Haderach. He gains the ability to see the future as it's going to unfold. And for people who are fans of the later books, they know how he also kind of gets trapped in the future. He cannot fully change it. He simply knows that it's going to happen, right? Now, in any video game, it should be a little bit more about the player and a little bit less about the big kind of main story person who isn't you. It would kind of suck if all the decisions that you go in and try and make don't really amount to anything because everything is already predetermined, right? So getting rid of Paul gives us the ability to have a story that is actually more dynamic. Suddenly, who you ally yourself with and the people you
Like,
help
when I
or
explained
help
this to my buddy, who's a huge Dune fan, he didn't understand. He thought, like,
and it's been
he
really
didn't
interesting
understand
because it's also kind of changed how we work
that
with
this
just with the IP holders, for instance, right? So
changed the entire
with the
story.
state, of course, to kind of
I don't know why he didn't understand. Maybe I just didn't do a good job explaining it to him. But I kept telling him that, like, there is no Paul. And he was like, oh, that sucks. I don't want to play it because there's no Paul. But then once he realized what that actually meant and the implications of it, he was like, oh, that's actually really cool.
So it's been more dynamic, much more lively, which has been a really exciting way of working with an IP.
It's also nice that we got that stamp of approval from the Herberts as well, right? So not people got to say like, well, they just did whatever they wanted, which is not the case really, because we did kind of throw it back as well, and there is reasons for that change that are very important for the game as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting, right? To kind of get in and delve into the world where, like Leia was mentioning, right? Like we've got characters like Peter de Vries or Duncan Idaho who are still around. They're not dead. Spoiler.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. We know Duncan Idaho's going to be around. I like how Niles listens to black metal, so he's not afraid to say what he really feels.
You do not necessarily have to know the Dune universe, right? Like you can still jump into the game and it will still be interesting.
You can tell the girls were like, "Oh, don't say Duncan, Idaho," but it's like it's obvious you're gonna meet up with Duncan, Idaho, dude.
We pay very close attention to the lore. Obviously, writing something, an alternate timeline, is not basically a creative license to do whatever we want. So we stay faithful.
And
to,
Duncan, Idaho's a Billy badass.
Books in particular, but for the whole, to the whole canon in general. And for the newcomers, the people who don't know Dune, who maybe just only watched the movie when it came out, this is a game that they can perfectly pick up, no problem. We introduce a lot of the concepts ourselves, obviously, when they become relevant. Otherwise, the player will just get to explore the world and learn about all those things by themselves. And so they shouldn't be scared of playing this game. They will be welcomed with open arms.
So we can say that we have actually, especially for the survival game genre, which we're not only a survival game, but for the survival game genre, we have a very important and really laid out and thought through story, including like cinematics and full voiceovers and everything. So do you have to play through the story, or I'm pretty sure people will?
So, like most game, we have an introduction, which is basically the main story, telling you how to play the game. Basically, a big tutorial teaching you how to survive on Arrakis. You will need some guidance, let me tell you. This is not an easy task. And the main story is there in the beginning to guide you a little bit and help you get your bearings in this very hostile world. But then past a certain point, when you've acquired all the schematics that you need, you basically don't have to follow the main story if this is not your thing, if you are just a hardcore survival player. Yeah, I agree, obviously. I think you absolutely should play the main story. I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun.
I probably will play the main story, but
yes, please do play it.
Especially if you want to know what
I'm gonna
your
be
role is in this whole world. I think
I'm gonna be
it's
focused
very
on
interesting to play through the story. But it's nice that you have the option to choose.
getting
Because if
everything
you're
I
not that
want
interested in
unlocked.
story-driven, in the story-driven part of the game, you don't have to later on, which I also think is nice for people who really are not interested in. But again, do it.
I will.
You
I will.
regret
Don't
it
worry.
If you don't, just let me put that out there. But anyway,
I bet you
talking
regret
about main
regret
story,
getting that
are there
Microsoft
other
laptop.
narrative or story elements that you can experience in the game?
Yes, of course.
As if I didn't know the answer.
No,
to that
I mean,
question.
exactly. But it's like, of course, we're making a survival game. It's not necessarily a genre that is like super focused on storytelling normally, but we're also working with the Dune IP. And it would be such a waste not to make full use of it, right? Like, this is a very personal and political and philosophical IP, and we try and really emulate that in a lot of the both gameplay choices, but also in the story choices, right? So like was already mentioning, part of the way we tutorialize you into kind of how to survive on Arrakis, it's kind of driven both through gameplay and story kind of intermingling. You need to do a bit of story in order to get to the game. You need to do a bit of game to get into the story, right? And we continue kind of with this philosophy for most things. Like, survival is not something that you do entirely on your own. Humans have never really done that, right? And so other people will be involved, other characters. And the second you have characters involved, drama, stories kind of naturally unfold. One of the things, for instance, story-wise, that you can get into is, at the start of the game, you pick what your background is. Where are you from? Who are you? Who is your mentor, right? Who your mentor is decides what.
Dude, I've created 3 different characters
we're not really
based on what I think the meta is going to be. And I finally think I settled on the right one. It's crazy.
Most of the great schools, which is, in my opinion, really cool. But if you want to learn the kind of the weirding ways of the Bene Gesserit, or kind of how to be a sword master, or anything of that kind, if you're familiar with the IP, you'll know like these are skills that are difficult to acquire. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. If you want to learn them, you're going to need a teacher, a trainer. And if you want someone to invest that kind of time in you, you need to convince them that you're worth their time, right? So we've got storylines revolving around, you know, Bene Gesserit, Swordmasters, Mentats, and so on, existing on Arrakis that you need to track down, find, convince that you are worthy of their time, and you know, help them out a bit. Maybe they'll help you out.
And those are not just like side quests or so, they're also like, I was kind of blown away, just throwing that out there, because I'm a Swordmaster. As some of you might know who saw the combat stream, I love Swordmaster. And when I had to go out and actually work on getting kind of my faction up, so to speak, with the advanced Swordmaster, I was surprised there was like fully voiced cinematics coming my way. So that was actually pretty cool. I mean, they're not super long, so don't get worried that you have to sit through like hours of cinematics or so, but I thought that was very cool. I have to say, like, again, I was very surprised about that specifically.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we're kind of passionate about is characters having a purpose, right? So even with the launch offering of the game, we're not going to be done with some of these characters just with launch. You will see some of these becoming a recurring cast over the future as well.
Exciting. So, Leah, some other things that we can expect, story and narrative-wise?
Yeah, I mean, it's still an open world game. So as such, it doesn't just have the main story. It has
side quests.
As I just mentioned, a lot of different content, side quests, people you meet, factions you'll encounter.
Contracts.
That is in turmoil, that is always off balance. There is no like big power keeping all of these people in order, so there's a bit of a power vacuum. So there's a lot going on in this world, and we make sure to pack it with a lot of content and a lot of lore. We have the CommuniNet, for example, which is the local radio. We have a bunch of different channels playing Atreides or Harkonnen propaganda, and those are very fun to listen to while you're mining away, surviving, sweating, dying in the desert, being eaten by a worm. Well, at least you'll be soon.
Not so much fun.
By the voice of on the other side of the radio.
Yeah, talk about the CommuniNet, or also we discussed, of course, the fully voiced little cinematics as well that you get, like during the Swordmaster or Mentor questline specifically. We just recently did release the first episode of 5 Days at Carthag, which is also exciting because it actually tells you a little bit about the background of the world as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, so I mean, as with any developer of any game, right, like we're very passionate about the stories and the lore that we built up. But of course, not everybody's interested in going around and reading every little text snippet that you put into the game. At some point, it becomes a bit tedious. We understand that as well, right? And, you know, fun little radio play on the Harvester Guild radio. Is a kind of
Dude,
way of
I can't think of a game that's put out this many live streams
This is a game
leading up to the launch of it. I can't think of one.
Are in an active conflict.
Ever.
Now, people familiar with the map of Arrakis know that Carthag, which is, you know, the Harkonnen kind of stronghold. And,
I think Starfield did a couple, or did one.
Way too close together for.
And like they promised so much and under-delivered big time, whereas Dune Awakening, it almost seems like they're.
Kind of needed to go. And so Carthag's been destroyed.
I don't know. I wouldn't say under-promising, but like. Just saying, they're saying like, wait till you get a chance to play it. Wait till you play it.
And with 5 Days of Carthag, you get the officially approved by the Empire story of what happened.
Officially approved.
They've gone through
might
every,
or might not be.
I wouldn't comment on that. That would be spoiler territory.
Don't get any soda cars my way. Yeah, don't send the soda cars my way. But so one thing that I personally think is very exciting. So it also goes a little bit into the trailer, because when I first heard some of the segments for some of the cinematics of one of the characters that was also featured in the trailer, I was like, I know that voice. I know that voice. I knew it because I played. Oh, I'm actually just touching my microphone. Apologies to the viewers. I recognized immediately that's Reinhardt from Overwatch. And then I saw also like when we actually released the story trailer, there were so many comments on YouTube as well. It's like, that's what is his name, Valkyrian or something? Yeah, but the Destiny 2 character Valkyrian, I think, or something. Anyway, I haven't played Destiny 2 that much, but there were so many people recognizing the Paul immediately. And besides him, which has an absolutely fantastic voice, we have quite a lot of voice actors. I mean, we have a huge cast of amazing voice actors, and there's just a few that, yes, absolutely. And there's a few in there that are very easily recognizable. One of them, I think she is actually in 5 Days of Karthak, is I again remember Symmetra from Overwatch.
Anjali Bhimani. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
She's fantastic. She does a really good job in that play, and you know, overall, the whole cast we've been working with has been fantastic. I mean, you've mentioned a couple of them already.
Kitten. I'm sorry, that's also a little bit, it's not a spoiler, it's just like part of one of the cinematics we're getting.
Yeah, I mean, people who played the closed beta will be familiar with who this character is. I will not go into the spoiler.
Yeah, I have not played the closed beta, even though I tried like hell to play it.
Any session.
Evelyn from League of Legends.
Yes.
I got screwed over by Funcom.
I think she's been in a couple of different things.
Absolutely
God of War,
fantastic.
Arcane,
Yeah, tons. Like pretty much
things.
all those voice actors have a huge. So we are very fortunate and very.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel very privileged to have these voice actors in game. One last one I want to mention though, which is actually he was part of one of my favorite game series ever, and he voiced one of my favorite game characters ever. In Mass Effect, Garrus.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Renan Keener, he's fantastic. Again,
Garrus is one of my homeboys from OG Mass Effect.
Atreides will get very well acquainted with his character.
Yes.
I think someone might be willing to spoil a bit more. I'm looking over at Leia if she wants to.
Yes, because when you come to like one of the first trade posts, you there's a really cool cinematics. I don't want to spoil that either, but there's a very cool little cinematic between an Atreides rep and a Harkonnen rep that he might or might not be part of. Who knows? But anyway, talking about that, yeah, Leah, talk about the factions a little bit and how they.
Yeah, as we've mentioned before, the Atreides and the Harkonnen are still around. They are kind of the big, iconic houses of Dune, so they had to be here, obviously. And you, as a player, had to be able to join them if you want. Of course, this is all of this is optional, but still, you can try to tip the scale a little bit in favor of one of these houses. Which again are embroiled in this long, exhausting war. It's been 10 years, so we are 10 years after the Battle of Arrakeen. That's when we start the game. So it's been quite a long time.
Yeah.
Both houses have exhausted a lot of their resources. They are tired. They want a way out. And you're going to explore an Arrakis that's basically war-torn, that's been really shaped by this war, and you as a player, you will be able to pick a side, so you won't be able to play both sides.
I love that I love that each of these live streams, it's not like
the choice
they're short,
if you don't want it to be,
and they're like
betrayal has consequences,
and that's consequences.
Trying to end it as fast as possible.
Yes.
Like
I think also
they're trying to put as much information in this shit as possible.
Designer and storytellers is very interesting. That we do have both
I love
factions
that.
still on the planet, because it gives you more time to also explore their, what drives them.
There's so much
and also maybe that
in this game that they could spend a lot of time going over stuff. Whereas like Marathon, it seemed like they were kind of repeating themselves by the end, and it was only like an hour or so. Whereas they've been going almost an hour and a half on this live stream, and then there's been 2 others that have been like 2 hours plus.
That they just wanted to get rid of the Atreides. There were larger forces at play. And that is still the case kind of in the lead up to our story. I mean, the Emperor kind of didn't really want the Duke around. He was a bit of a threat, right? Now, in our version of the story, the Atreides kind of survived that assault, which puts the Emperor in a very awkward situation, which is why he's kind of forced this war to be allowed, quote unquote, right? It distracts everybody. They're fighting each other. But now the Harkonnen are stuck in a long war. They're exhausting all their resources. And the Atreides, they're kind of forced into a world where, like, hey, I can't just be the honorable kind of white knight all the time. I'm stuck in a decade-long war. Sometimes they're going to make choices that are not as pretty as they would like, and with enough time, reality starts to set in. Like you don't come out of a war unscathed. Yeah, you'll get to explore a lot of kind of the effects of a long war and kind of how it's affected both of the sides as you get into the early mid parts of the game and then throughout it afterwards. So look forward to it. We put a ton of effort into it, and we're very excited.
Yeah. And maybe it's, as you mentioned, always so black and white in regards to who are the bad guys and who are the good guys. Maybe the things are kind of gray and...
I'll let you guys decide.
Yes, we'll see. Well, I'm still a Harkonnen. Anyway, yeah, see, like, high five. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I think that's a good point because we actually ended with the factions, and we're gonna go soon into our next segment, which also which will also include the Landsrat. So we'll discuss factions again there. But before we do that, Leah, Niels, thank you so much for making time for us and for chatting with me about the story and the narrative. I hope that future players are really excited, and that some of you who might not be that interested in story normally will just still give it a go, because I really do feel it is worth it. It's fun. There is some really cool voice actors. There's some really great cinematics, fully voiced. Even in the smaller part, like we just discussed, like the Mentor storylines, side quests and things. So there's definitely a lot to look forward to.
Sounds good.
Before we jump into the next segment, however, we will have another quick video for you.
Sweet.
Few survive this world, but those who do awaken. The desert wants you dead, off-worlder. If the sands don't take you, the storms will swallow you.
Yeah, she's nice. She's cool. She seems cool.
But you don't have to walk this path alone. In every danger, there is opportunity. The foundation of something greater.
37 days. Damn, dude, I want to play so bad. I'm tired of waiting.
Some claim to rule this planet. But Arrakis is yours to explore. To fight for. To conquer. But there are forces beyond even your control. Master Arrakis, and it will open your mind. This is your path to awakening.
All right.
Welcome back. I have now two new guests with me to talk about Exchange and the Landsrot. One of them is Joel Bylos, first time on this stream, never seen before. We did let him out of the doghouse again. So for those of you who want,
Let him out of the doghouse, the chief creative director.
You want to introduce yourself quickly?
Sure.
For those of you who don't know him.
This week, my name is Al Gaib.
Okay, there you go.
And yeah, I'm the creative director on Dune Awakening, and I've had to change sponsor due to something that happened during the last podcast. Sorry, live stream. So I've switched sponsors now.
All right. So we just balance.
So he's
it
drinking
out.
Pepsi now?
Pepsi, all good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a first timer on the stream.
The Pepsi's better anyway.
To you as well.
Coke Zero sucks.
Ancon, you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yes, I'm Amar, senior designer on Dune Awakening. I mostly work with systems such as the Landsrot, what we call hazards, such as quicksand, drum sand, and sandworm.
Sandworm, master of the worm.
Sandworm. What was it like the godfather of sandworms? No, what was it? Worm father. The worm father. Yes, the worm father. There we go. So
yeah, normal Coke is good, but Coke Zero sucks.
You can blame Amar.
Pepsi Zero is really good. I prefer Pepsi. I've always preferred Pepsi.
So yeah, obviously we do have social mechanics in the game, and there is a way for players to kind of influence economy, politics, a lot of those things. And one of the social aspects that we kind of modeled a little bit after traditional MMOs is the exchange, which is basically our...
You prefer Coke? Okay.
Joel, you want to go a little bit more into what that actually looks like?
Sure, I mean, you can probably see it on the screen right now, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's like, this is one of the reasons why we think Dune pushes a little bit beyond your average survival game, because we have this worldwide, and when I say world, I'm talking about our definition of world, which is battle groups in other games. It's kind of a definition where we have a bunch of these sietches, which are the servers, and they all connect to a single world, and within that world, there's a single exchange, which means people are able to sell and buy things off the exchange across these spaces, which means that you can, you know, obviously it's standard thing. People have seen it in MMOs for a long time. But the cool thing about our game is we have these dynamic elements that can be bought and sold on the exchange. And we really tried to bring sort of to focus some of the things from like, from the advantages that this type of game has. For example, freeform building. So you'll be able to craft the buildings, as you saw earlier, save them to the replicator that we showed, I think, in the earlier part of the live stream. And then you'll be able to go to an exchange, preview someone else's building sets.
That's cool. And then buy it.
And then place out your own buildings. And obviously fill them in. So kind of the idea here is that we have this dynamic content. It means that people who play this role of architects, which is something that we've seen as I think a new kind of play style that comes out of these kind of games, these survival, you know, open world crafting games. People who are architects are actually able to make a living, hopefully, by selling really cool designs on the exchange to other players.
Yeah, that's cool.
Of course, we'll have people who make beautiful, artistic things like the scorpion we saw that was really cool and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, then we'll also have people who are like sweaty PvP raiders who are really like making their honeycomb boxes to put out in the deep desert. So hopefully, you know, this creates some sort of economy around this, and that's kind of one of the coolest things about our exchange.
Yeah. I also think it's really cool because, again, if you don't like to build, you can just go there and get something really cool if you wanted to. Maybe you want something, but you don't want to spend the time to actually design it. So I think this is a very, very cool feature. And there's, of course, other things that you can as well.
Yeah, so another really interesting sort of dynamic thing that you can put on the exchange is in our cartography system, players go out and they survey, and we've talked about this a bit. You go and survey areas. And when you have surveyed an area, you can basically print out a sync chart, which is obviously a name from the lore. Print out a sync chart of the area that you've been surveying. And that basically fills in all the resources and all of the things that you've seen on the map. You can go to the exchange with a printout of your sync charts and sell those sync charts to other players. So
right, the maps.
You know, for Hacker Basin South, the starting region, the areas are fairly set. But of course, the deep desert resets every week. And there are 81 different zones in the deep desert that need to be basically set up in this way. Yeah, surveyed and printed out. So we see this as kind of an activity that we'll see players doing, right? Both you know, in a guild, you probably have dedicated scouts who go out, survey the deep desert, try to get as much of the resource information as possible, bring it back and hand it out to their guildmates. But in addition to that, we'd also expect there to be independent contractors, people who go out to the deep desert survey and then sell their maps on the exchange. And hopefully you can also get a reputation of, as being someone who's very thorough, someone who does a good job of the cartography loops of the game. So people start to recognize, okay, this person's a good cartographer. I'm going to buy their maps. They're generally up to date for the week and they're generally in good shape. So hopefully, again, just like the architect, we want that to be a style of play that people can really lean into. It's the same with cartography. We hope that there are scouts and people who lean into this map-making side of the game.
So also, like, as you just mentioned, Deep Desert is so huge. Even if you're a big guild, you won't have time or the resources to actually really survey everything. And maybe you don't find that spot that has like super saturated resources. And then someone actually goes out. It might be a single player that isn't even like, it might even be a PvE player that might just try to sneak around all the PvP spots, and they still have the opportunity to kind of make a dent here and make be important.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
The context of everything, especially the deep desert. So I think that's pretty cool. And then we can also talk about the Explorer, for example. That's also another thing that there's an opportunity for explorers here as well, of course.
Sure, I mean, yeah, so we have the unique schematic system in the game. We've talked about this as well, where players are able to find unique schematics, but they're limited creation runs. So you can only like create the item that you find in the unique schematic.
So many times, right.
So you want to find multiple versions of the schematic in order to like save that up and then, you know, craft more.
Right.
So if you go and find a very rare schematic that nobody else has found, you can make a choice. You can either sell the schematic itself on the exchange to another
Or you
player,
can hold it.
which they can then obviously purchase and craft.
Diamond hands.
Or you can craft the item yourself and
Yeah.
sell that on the exchange. So you also have this choice of how to approach putting things on the exchange, whether you want to be known as the person who crafts this very specific rare thing, or whether you want to be, you know, someone who just like sells any interesting schematics you find on the exchange for other people to pick up. And this is something that also allows, like, the Deep Desert is a PvP area, and we know that some people never want to go in a PvP area ever, but they'll be able to get the items from
So many people are like, oh, I don't want a PvP. I don't want a PvP.
sell them as well. So there's hopefully this crossover. And again, going back to the guild layer, we're hoping that, like, you know, there are some people, I think guilds will have this multifaceted approach where you have your scouts, your architects, your crafters, and your PvPers, right, and PvEers. So people who go out with different tasks, and then they come back and they all work together to create the full stack.
Yes,
and I think guild activities is going to be something we talk about very soon.
Yes, we will. But also, like, just to mention that again, so that's every archetype basically is kind of important in the big picture.
I think they might be doing another stream. They said they were only going to do 3, but I think they're going to do more.
Just access the exchange from anywhere, right? I mean.
Yes. Yeah. Nice lead in.
I know, I'm trying. That wasn't the best one, no, I admit.
Of course, the exchange is only available in the social hubs.
Yes.
So Harko Village and Arakeen. This is because we want players to deal with a bit of logistics, but we also want players to see other players a
it's
lot,
nice,
right? And the Deep Desert is a big, lonely place until you get, you know,
depending
until you
if
get
you're
the,
like
until you get the crap kicked out of you by someone else.
Yes.
But then there's like the, you know, Haggard Basin is a place where you can meet and hang out with people, but the social hubs are really designed to be the place where you see a lot of other players, and the exchange is a location that, you know, pulls you in, and like you'll see, you know, we've all had this feeling in MMOs when you go to the auction house and there's 50 people around, and you know, you can understand that this is actually a world with a lot of people in it.
You also have to go there to pay taxes though, which is kind of like a little bit of a bummer as well. So you can't just spend your money either paying taxes or spend your money buying cool stuff, or make money to pay your taxes. There's the other thing.
Actually, forgot to pay my taxes for 2 weeks in the beta, and I came back to a sad base that I had to repair.
Well,
it's my fault.
Well, that's all on you. That is all on you. Also, like, if you just had the small sub fee, it wouldn't be an issue in the first place.
And I could have paid the taxes in advance.
It's a little doghouse that we let you out, like Joel's doghouse, like you mentioned. Yeah, exactly.
I've been in it for a week.
Until the next 2 weeks almost. Yes. So, obviously, that was one of the aspects that players can actually kind of take part in the economy. But more importantly, players can also take part in politics. That brings us to the Landsraad system. Before we go into the actual mechanics and what that looks like, Joel, maybe you can give us a little bit of a background of how that actually fits into the Dune lore.
Yeah, so the Landsraad is the High Council that deals with the Emperor in the books, right?
Yes.
It's kind of this political body. They have some influence on the policies of the Imperium. You know, it's described as a political tripod with the Emperor and the Landsrat and the Spacing Guild. You know, this is, but in our game, yes, the Landsrat have the ability to create decrees that then impact the entirety of Arrakis and affect the ongoing war. And the way that we've designed this system is that player factions, the Atreides and Harkonnen, are attempting to get votes in the Landsrat so that they can impact the overall structure of this. And so the idea here is just to really create and it is an endgame activity driver is what I call it, right? It's a way of creating a system where people are asked to do activities to help their faction earn votes in the Landsrat. And the Landsrat then has a voting session, and Amar's going to talk a little bit more about how that all works out. The only thing I will say, in addition to that, is that the Landsrat takes place across like a series of servers. Just like I mentioned, the Exchange does the same thing. So there's one Landsrat for a world. A world contains multiple servers within it. So it isn't just like a few people competing, it's everybody in that world competing and all the factions in that world. And we will have a look at how the reputations and stuff come to play in this.
Yeah, I think we can basically just dive into it and show what it actually looks like game mechanic.
The only piece I find.
A few assets here that we can show you.
Yeah, so the Landsrat Week, it's a cycle that lasts a week. And to be eligible to participate, players need to align themselves to a faction and be part of a guild that is aligned to the same faction. And the week starts with players having to go out into the world and find the representatives of the 25 Landsrat houses and basically convince them to reveal their requirement for the week. And these change every week. And as you can see here, the player has found one of these representatives and can try to convince them to reveal their requirement for that week.
So there's several ways to convince them to like reveal their kind of goals to you, and there's also depending on which great house that you're actually talking to, so they change those goals. Yeah, so one thing is of course doing
Crazy.
chores for them in a way, like chores, but then you can also, there's also other ways, right, that you can convince them.
You can bribe them, some of them.
Straight out.
Some of them are
Some
not
of them.
bribable. And yeah, that will reveal their requirement for the week, and then players can immediately start completing that.
And some of them, I believe, also react to your background that you chose in character creation. So they might like you more if you're from a certain background or a certain caste in the universe, and therefore they might provide more information freely.
Faster as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you get to that faster. And the reason that you should get to that kind of, you should reveal that fast is kind of something that we're going to show after now, so we can actually kind of switch to that and show the board, kind of the Landsrat board. Here we go.
Okay, so I've seen this.
This is the Landsrat board, how it looks at the start of the week, where you can see there are these 25 great houses shown, but you don't know what they require you to do that week. So once you have revealed the tasks, it will tell you and your whole faction what you need to do to complete it.
And of course, the earlier you do that, the more time you have as well to actually work on those.
And each square on this board represents a major house of the Landsrat, and these are the representatives that you're looking for in the world.
Yeah, and if you don't manage to reveal, over time they will reveal themselves. And as you can see, there are different things they require of you. Some will require you to harvest resources or craft items such as steel suits or rapiers and deliver them.
See,
They
I'm
might also
like,
deliver vehicles such as sand bikes.
look at this. So house reward. So is this okay? 700, 10,000 Solari, 3,500. So 7,000 sets of 50 plasteel composite blade. I just don't understand
Ornithopters, those are tasks
the
for
difference
crafting
between
and
rewards.
there's
Like,
also
what's the
exploration
reward
tasks
that we get,
ask you to travel out
and what
into
do we
the
need to
craft
give them?
mechanics, buried treasures that contain specific things that some of the houses will ask for. And there's also the possibility for PvPers to progress these tasks by taking over control points in the deep desert that are basically territory that these houses want in the deep desert.
I think an important point to mention is also that you do actually need to not only be, you don't only need to belong to a faction, you also need to actually be in a guild to be able to participate in this.
Yeah.
So here we have a few of those. I think we can go now further to actually show what your goal is on this bingo card, so to speak.
Yeah. So as the factions complete tasks, they will show up on the board in their.
Has been authorized. Such goods as are during this period are not considered and may be used freely. What? Exclusive tool to a Lancerat tool vendor.
Color. And this progresses throughout the week.
We need to go back to the previous board if we can, and perfect, and just leave it there for a sec. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, this is actually from the beta, and you can see that this week Atreides has absolutely crushed Harkonnen, but you can also see here that Harkonnen has won last week because they have the active decree. But this is where you compete, and towards the end of the week, basically the faction that has the most tasks completed by the end of the week will win. But there's also the possibility of faction winning before that time by completing a row of 5 tasks, which we call a Sysselråd.
Yeah, it's a very nerdy term pulled from the books, but a Sysselråd is basically when a major voting block in the Landsrad works together, and then they basically, so you can win the week by filling out a line. You
like
can
a bingo
block that
card.
by, of course, taking votes away. So you can prevent an early victory in the Landsrad by
Right.
jumping in and completing tasks in a line to prevent other people from doing it. Yeah, it's kind of it's supposed to lead to players being tactical in their approach to how
Right.
they do this, guilds being tactical in how they work together and against each other in this scenario, right?
And in this case, it's also really fun to talk to another guild and like work together to make sure especially when it comes to that specific. Actually, I'm taking that a little bit too early when it comes to decrees afterwards as well. So if you really don't want one, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So yeah, so basically it's a row of either diagonally or vertically or horizontally. If you have all those 5, you actually win a Sysselråd,
and then it ends early. But if you don't manage the row,
yeah, then it is the most tasks completed. But I think this is quite interesting because it's not just a battle of effort here or anything. It's also the meta battle of
Fremen with benefits.
Strategy. There's kind of tactics and strategy involved as well, and not only PvP. As we heard, there's you can really contribute to this no matter what kind of player you are. If you're a crafter, if you're an explorer, there's something for you to do as well to help your faction or your guild in this case. Also, what's interesting here is you see the placement of the guilds as well, which gets us into rewards. What are some of the rewards that you get from actually participating in this?
Yeah, the main reward that players are fighting over.
Repair costs and refining times are reduced by 75%. Holy shit. All items are dropped and can be looted by anyone when defeated. Holy shit.
Provide some of the most powerful items in the game.
I feel like repair costs and refining times reduced by 75% is big.
It can be something.
But I don't know what Lancerat tool vendor is.
Or even some more rare ones that are like the one you see on the screen now, where all items are dropped in the deep desert, basically making it a full loot
PvP heaven, basically. Yeah. I think what's important to mention again is that this is actually for a whole world. So you change basically the rules and the mechanics for a whole world and all the servers or sieges that are part of that world. So it's actually a quite
ranged weapon damage increased by 33%.
For like a whole week.
Yep.
Which is very exciting.
That would make it more difficult for sure.
Well, we see a few more decrees.
Lancerat armor vendor.
There's not just PvP decrees that you can do. Like if you can be, we actually discussed that earlier. If you can be if you want to be a guild that is all about peace and you really want to kind of stop the PvPers from like doing their thing, then you can actively try to.
I want problems always.
Because they want to go for full loot again and stuff like that. So you can actually band together with other guilds and try to kind of counter that in a way, which I think is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, one of the ways you can do that is when the week ends and the voting session starts, the guild leaders are the ones that can vote on the selection of 3 decrees that week. And they vote with something called voting power that they gain based on how much their members contributed to the tasks. So a PvE guild, as you say, that is very active and contributes a lot, they have more to say on which decree is chosen than a guild that contributes less.
So it's not only about the factions winning against the other factions, it's also about which guild within that faction has contributed the most.
Exactly.
Because they get more power to decide.
You can see on the screen that on the 2 sides, you can see the top 5 contributing guilds. So you can sort of also, like as guilds, you can also think about how you want to climb the ranks. So particularly the Harkonnen who like to backstab and take over each other's places.
Hey now.
But like it's you can see the same like with the Atreides. Maybe they're a bit more noble about it, but it's about there's also competitiveness within the guilds, within the factions, as well as this competition between the factions, which is, you know...
You're saying there might be backstabbing in between the factions.
I'm saying there might be plans within plans.
Plans within plans.
Yeah,
plans within plans. And that's kind of the idea here, to build this system. And I want to stress that, like, when the game launches, this will be there, but it won't be as fleshed out as it will be over time, right? Because we'll continue to add more activities, more decrees, so that the game will continue to evolve with different things happening, right? Like, and that's kind of the idea. Like, when we add X, that's going to start showing up in the Lensrad as an activity.
I know that's what's crazy is like this is just launch.
So this is a
like this is so fucking ambitious, so ambitious. Holy!
As the game expands, and that's kind of our goal as well.
Especially since you don't only have the decree as rewards, there's other things as well, and it's not just the factions that are the winners, even if you lose. But maybe you can comment a little bit on that as well.
Yeah, you have something we call personal rewards that are for each of the houses, and they give everybody who contribute a certain percentage rewards. The rewards can be something like a great amount of Solari, a large amount of endgame components, unique.
I just don't understand the Lancerad tool vendor. And what's this 3046?
House colors of that house.
0. Is that how many votes are for that? I would assume that's got to be it.
To players, regardless if they win the task or if they don't.
So you get to vote on which reward you get.
For many players.
Also on a personal level. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's my guess, anyway.
And I think it's one of the decrees actually. You can actually, I'm not sure if we've shown it on the asset, but you can also unlock a special vendor. Like that's, I think is that a decree? I actually am not 100% sure.
It's here.
Yeah.
There's multiple decrees that unlock different vendors, and they have, as I mentioned
those
before,
unique schematics that you mentioned.
Very strong schematics, and they also have discounted general endgame gear as well.
I see. Okay.
There's a double reward there anyway.
And we talk gear, we don't mean just armor and weapons. We also mean tools and other things that are interesting.
Vehicles.
Yes, for, like,
got it.
Yes, I think that was actually a good overview already. And as mentioned, we have the beta weekend coming up. So no, actually, players won't be able to check out the launch at the weekend. Unfortunately, that's a bit
It takes a bit too long to get
that's
in. This is endgame, right? Like
yes, it's a bit too complex.
You can join a faction. Probably you can join a faction in the beta.
You can.
I think you'll be able to join a faction and like start doing quests and get a feel for what's it like to be a Harkonnen on the ground, or what's it like to be an Atreides. But you can't reach the Landsrad in the beta scope that we're going to have on May 9th. But that's that's a part of the surprises. We can't show everything.
No, and it's part of Endgame too. Like there's so many other things to do anyway on the way there. Like there's millions of things that you can do for any type of player. But yes, thank you so much, Joel. You're actually going to stay here because you're going to help us with the Q&A.
Nice. This is going to be fun. Ask really spicy questions so that I can give really spicy answers.
Omar, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully we have you on the stream sometime soon. It's really great to have you. Thanks for your for the chat. To mention again, so we have collected questions from you during the stream. We will answer those during the Q&A. Plus, we do have a raffle that we will do during the Q and we will actually giving away 1 Ultimate Edition, 1 Deluxe Edition, and 2 Standard Editions from people that we will randomly choose. We will start the raffle in a second once we're done, like with our, like Joel and I, with our.
What is he doing?
puppet,
He's got
what is it called
sandworm.
when you do no, not inspo. When you not that. When you do stand up, no, not stand up either. Oh god, that would be horrible. Improv. Thank you. Our improv sock puppets. Yes, we will have Leo back as well for the Q&A to help us with answering some questions. We are gonna mic him up. I'm basically waiting as well. If I can't actually hear now. There we go. I cannot hear at the moment. I'm sorry, my earpiece is not working. Let me just turn it up. There we go. Yes. So, changing into videos. We don't have a video here.
We have a magical video.
Oh, we have a magical video I didn't know about. All right, let's watch the video.
The only peace I find is a future that never happened. One where I, Paul Atreides, was never born.
Dude, I can't think of a game that they've done more like previews for.
Until it created me.
Where they've talked about more of what's going on in the game.
But I see a narrow way. A path that might have been.
I can't think of another game that's done this ever. I mean, if anybody can think of one, say it, but I can't think of another game that's done this.
Dr. Yue exposed before his betrayal.
Like, we're 2 hours in.
The world where my father lives. House Atreides surviving the Battle of Arrakeen.
It's insane.
Sardaukar deployed to protect the spice melange. A war of assassins spreading across the planet. Fremen
disappeared.
Exterminated. No Muad'Dib.
No Lisan al-Gaib.
No Lisan al-Gaib. No Kwisatz Haderach. All of my visions lead to horror. Except for this one. This one leads to you.
Okay.
All right, we are back for the Q&A, and for the Q&A we have Joel here.
Q&A time.
Holding for whatever reason a Chris knife. Just make sure like the dangerous. Joel and weapons is dangerous. Anyway, and we also have Leo back to help us with answering the Q&A questions. As mentioned, we also do a raffle during this section. So while I see the wizard behind the scenes preparing this, you'll be able to type exclamation mark "awoo" into the chat. For those of you, for those of you who know, for those of you in the beta, they will know. Also, a reminder that it's unfortunately only on Twitch because our YouTube bot is just not cooperating right now. Apologies for that. We'll definitely make sure that we'll do future raffles for both YouTube and Twitch. Yes, exclamation mark, awoo. Do you want to tell the story about that, Joel, by the way?
I mean, should I? Or is it like an intimate story of me and the players in the beta?
It's just, in the beta, we had an improvised, let's call it improvised voice line that was not finalized. And
it was very well acted.
Very well acted.
And it
was an Atreides, right?
It was an Atreides exhorting.
Atreides.
Come on, Atreides. Atreides. Awoo.
Atreides.
Awoo.
Awoo.
It was
inspiring, right?
It was inspiring.
Super inspiring.
And it became a meme.
Isn't awoo from
very high energy too. Like,
300?
that one is single-handedly the reason I'm going Harkonnen and Atreides, by the way.
Nice.
You've had enough, huh?
No, I'm lying.
We've driven you away with our honourable ways.
No, it's the faction things, quite honestly. Anyway.
You just like bold men. I get it.
Sorry, Joel. We give a shit. Okay. Anyway, exclamation woo! But let's start with the Q&A and get the first question here. We have the Now's Metro.
That's a good question. Will it be possible to mix and match the build sets of both Atreides and Harkonnens?
Mix and match the build sets of both Atreides and Harkonnens, or are we restricted to only one?
Thank you for the Chris knife of speech.
The Chris knife of answering questions.
Yes. So, yes, you can, but it'll be a bit easier to get the first one of those, and then you'll have to do a bit more work in order to secure both.
Jump through some hoops because no one likes to be betrayed.
But you can build with both together.
Yes,
The pieces are standardized, so they will work together for the most part. There is a couple of unique pieces.
Exactly, but should work good.
Yeah, it's going to look amazing.
I mean, I think we've seen actually someone mix the building sets in the building contest.
I think the winning one did.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. I think it was C.
You will, however, be a pariah and an abomination to both factions.
Yeah.
If you choose to use their building sets to create a single building.
Not if you're really good, Joel.
Or if you're a Bene Gesserit and you're trying to get them together, as the law would indicate.
Anyway, let's go to the next question. Subdacius is asking, will there be faction-specific chat so you can coordinate launch strategies without giving away secrets to the enemy? Good question.
It's also a Leo question.
Well, there is no faction-specific chat, but we do have a guild chat, so you can coordinate on a guild level, and that should be helpful to coordinate these type of activities. And it should be possible to also use the area-based chat we have in the region to coordinate with other players nearby to set up some scheming.
And you can also listen in if people are stupid enough to use the voice proximity to talk to each other about plans.
Sneak up to their bases.
That happened to some of the streamers that we had going live a few days ago. It was actually really funny.
It's interesting.
I think it was like French streamers and like English streamers that were listening to French streamers. It was actually kind of funny. Anyway, let's go to
someone's going to punch me for this, but were they coordinating their surrender? Or was it just... No? Okay.
I don't know.
Never mind.
Don't remember. All right. Let's go to the next question.
Be turned off.
Mandem 007 is asking, can certain base equipment be turned off from power drain when you're away from the game to preserve the power drain?
So the way this works is that you need to have a
circuits,
higher level of
right?
production than your current use, right? And that allows your shield to stay up. So what you can do is turn off some machines to lower your use, and then you can also turn off some generators to not spend as much energy, right?
Got it.
But there's still a limit to how much...
and there's circuits too, so you can have certain things connected to certain power sources.
It does make it a lot cheaper for it to last longer.
Yeah, so basically just have the fuel there to power your sub-thief so your base is protected, which is kind of the most important thing.
Yeah,
so
like it's a very simple calculation. One fuel cell lasts 1 hour in a base generator. So it's very easy to have enough fuel to figure out how many hours you have left based on like.
Dude, this guy's always wearing these shoes. Look at the, he's got like little booties.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but you can turn off, like it doesn't
His
matter
shoes
that much
have
if you're not above the power usage of the generator. So if the generator makes 75 units
fingers
of
for
power,
the toes.
and you're using 25, 30,
There's like
35,
toe
40,
slots.
whatever, and then you turn off.
I've
all the
seen
things
those. I've
that
never
are
worn a
using up to
pair.
35 or 45. It won't change the rate at which the generator generates power, so it doesn't matter that much to turn them off.
Yeah.
It only matters to turn them off if you're starting to go above what the generator can handle, right? So but as Leo says, the base rate, 1 fuel cell per hour, and then you can stack up enough. I think it's 3 weeks of power right now.
Yeah,
or
20.
Perhaps even longer with.
Yeah, it's 29 days.
It's quite a lot of
29
power
days,
you can-
I
so
think.
never fear. We've thought about people who need to go away for a few weeks or whatever and have holidays and things like that.
Just go on holidays for like a half a year or so, basically.
Just get a friend to check in on your base for you if you've got to be away for too long.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what kind of system to prevent making this always one side winning.
In place to prevent always one side winning.
Sure.
We didn't expect that question at all.
Maybe. We have a couple of systems, one of which I'm definitely not going to talk about because I don't think I should.
No.
And because also then I know people will start trying to game it, and I really dislike it when people do that. So I'll not talk about that one.
The little devil on your shoulder just telling you.
However, there is a new faction that we will add to the game sometime during post-launch, and that faction's job will be to make sure that the Landsrad remains balanced. And there'll be a whole set of different mechanics coming into the game around that third faction. And that's all I'm going to say for now. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's not such a, I think, onerous task for people to be able to keep this fairly even if the population dips in a particular direction, right? If you end up with like, you know, a lot more Harkonnen, then you end up with a lot more Atreides on the same world. Shouldn't be the case, but if that happens, it's still completely possible for the Atreides to participate and make changes in the Landsrad. So it should work out. That's basically. But I'm not going to talk about the detailed mechanics behind how that works.
No, we can ask YouTube comments to comment below what they think, what kind of faction we're introducing next.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, let's do that. Just comment on what you think or what you.
How
want.
often do I have to pay tax?
Doesn't mean we can
Isn't
add
it? Is it once a week or once a month? Once a week, I think.
Blind shooter, blind shooter zombies. What a fantastic username. How often do you have to pay tax?
Yep. So the way this works is that you'll need to pay tax every 2 weeks. That's
2 weeks. Okay.
And to expand on that a little bit more, then if you don't pay the tax at that point, then your taxes will be overdue, but your base shields won't actually be turned off until you forget to pay for another week after that. So you have quite a bit, or another 2 weeks before after that. So you have quite a bit of time to pay.
You get a red letter saying "pay now or else."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
like low-level soda cars coming to your house and like knocking on the door.
Like my university student days.
About time.
I don't have to pay this yet. It's fine. It's only the second overdue bill.
A third until you get the third overdue
That's how it is.
message. Yeah, exactly. Just
First one is just a suggestion, right?
So Choker DXNK. Apologies if I.
Someone buys. Is it a one-time sell?
If someone buys my blueprint, is it a one-time sell, and I'll have to list it again?
Yes. So one tool is one use. So you'll have to create the replication process again, right? And then you'll be able to sell it. So this way we ensure that once you've sold your design, it's not out there forever. So you can continuously supply it.
Yeah, it's a consumable, essentially, right? So you sell the blueprint. We're talking about base blueprints, I'm assuming, rather than schematics.
I think so
for
too.
items.
Yeah.
So if you sell your base blueprint, people can consume it once, and that's it, right? They can't consume it infinite times. So if you make cool creations, it's like the ultimate form of copyright thanks to the Imperium.
Yeah, and I can also add that you can't just go up to a random base you find and copy the design, right? You have to have access to the base to be able to do this, high-level access.
Yes, permissions.
And you also have to copy your base again to sell it too.
Yes.
I'm not really sure which of the things they were asking here about, but yeah, just to cover all our bases here. Ha! No pun intended. Yeah. No, I meant the base.
3, right? I think you can have 3.
The highliner joke from last time. Yeah. Reaper is that a K? Yeah, 2K7. What is the maximum number of bases you can have?
3. So you have different types of sub-fief consoles, right? And you have the basic sub-fief console, you have the advanced sub-fief console, and together, however you split that up, you have a cap of 3 that you can own. You can then have a permission to access any number of other sub-fief consoles or bases, right? But that's just what you are restricted to.
Okay.
And, then we also have a further restriction on the number of basic sub-fief consoles at 2.
We haven't actually talked about this in the building part, but you can easily abandon a base via the map, for example. So if you're like, all of a sudden, no, I don't need that like 4x4 box anymore that I made at the very beginning of the game. Yeah, it's actually part of the tutorization as well.
It's encouraged to get rid of old bases because this is
so
one of the things that I it's one of the problems that like comes with the persistence of a game like this, right? Like in an MMO, a traditional MMO like World of Warcraft, it's not like you build a base in the starter zone and leave it there. for a week, right?
Right.
Because imagine how many bases would end up stacking up, and that's
Exactly.
kind of how our game does work, is like that. So you can end up with a lot of bases. So the opening tutorial encourages you to get rid of your old base, your first base, and then you move further and further out into the world, and we're asking you to create bigger bases. So I will say, just, you know, do your fellow starters a favor when the game launches and clean up your old
Clean up,
bases, people.
yes.
Don't leave trash on Arrakis.
Yes, clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Mandem007 again with a question: can a guild be a party of one individual or at least two players?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no minimum requirement there, so that works fine.
Yes, and it enables you to be part of the
They're
master.
asking
You
the
can do
same
that as a
fucking
single
questions.
And then there's upper cap as well at 32.
Yeah.
In a guild. But yeah, they can be very small as well.
Yep.
If I'm building vertically on a cliffside, will the cliff work as a wall and keep or do I need to add another wall along the cliff to close off the structure? It's an interesting question. That's a very specific question.
Will the cliff work as a wall and keep a sandstorm out, or I need to add another wall along the cliff to close off the structure? That's a good question too.
So for that one, yes, you will need to add another wall.
Okay.
And it depends on certain complicated factors, depending on the distance to this opening and how close you are to the other surrounding walls and roofs. But in essence, yes, to be safe, you need to do that. And the reason we're doing it this way is to make sure that bases and their contents eventually do decay away if they are in fact abandoned, right? So we don't have bases staying around permanently taking up
I
space.
mean, while we don't expect anybody to quit this video game over time, while we expect 100% of our players to keep playing forever, there may be some that leave, and then we're going to have something like a decay system in place. So yeah, that's why we have to do this.
Yeah. Or you could just get tired of base and move on, right? We need it to be removed in that case.
Yeah. Sarah Nielsen is asking, how do you set access level towards strangers to your building?
Yeah, so if it's if the question is if you can give access to someone you know, then you can search for their name and add them that way. And you can also interact with their character in the world, give them access that way. If you have them on your friends list already, imported through Steam, for example, then
yeah, I've seen this. Like a lot of this stuff can be answered on YouTube if you just watch videos, because on April 25th they allowed content creators to show a lot more of the beta.
I think that was the question. Yeah, exactly.
And what you can do then is go to individual objects on the base, like doors or machines and whatnot, and lower its access level requirement to public. And then anyone will be able to access it.
And we've seen some really cool examples of this in the beta, where people, for example, put out a little bit of a drink of water for other players, or a little piece of shade, or somewhere for them to shelter for the sandstorms, and they make a little area of their base. It's just a little bit public, so people passing by have somewhere to stay.
Like
it's
a
very
little,
nice.
A water station with like different water consistor, like where people can get water and stuff. So super nice.
We saw the public toilet earlier as well,
No,
right? That
true.
could be a good one.
That is true, yes.
Generous to strangers.
Yeah. Empty your still suits.
Can you move the whole base, or you need to build it all over?
The whole base, or you need to build it all over again?
Both is true. Both are true, right?
To a single replicator, right? And then you don't have to come up with something new on the new location.
But you do have to build it again.
You do need to build it again at the new location. Carry whatever items you want at that place manually. But to help you with that, you have vehicles as well, right? And vehicles can have quite sizable storage. So that makes the process a whole lot less inconvenient.
And also quick deploys, right, which is super nice, vehicle specifically.
Yeah, the quick. Yeah, and we're also very generous with the building costs in this game. We're not. We like when people make cool buildings, so we're not trying to make it a super grindy, like, oh, you know, you have to spend 20 hours getting enough materials just to build the base. Right?
That's
it's
good.
Actually, I think relatively fast compared to the standards of the genre.
Yeah,
I fully agree. I was actually I was going to comment on that, because what I generally do is I don't care about granite, for example, or the base, or the material for the base. I generally might just dismantle the actual refineries or so, just so I can get them up really fast again, or immediately, especially the power generator early on. And anything else, you can just a few minutes and you have the material again. which
Yeah,
is super
so
nice.
we wanted to find that sweet spot where it still feels like you worked to earn that base, right?
Mm.
So it isn't so cheap that it feels valueless, right?
Yeah.
You still have to work for it, but it's not so much that it becomes painful to gather the materials.
Right.
So I think we've found that sweet spot.
You don't spend hours refining just to make a single wall.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Also, I feel like if you have one of those huge bases that we've seen, then you're basically established yourself, and you're most likely not going to move next week again, right? So
Yeah.
there's that as well. So yeah. All right. Dragon D.
Dragon die.
Dragon die. Dragon die. Can you link friends' bases together?
Well, you can place bases pretty close together. You can't actually link them together, right? I think one way you could do something.
Permissions, maybe? No, you couldn't cross the border, but you can still make permissions. So it's
Yeah,
quite
you
easy
can
to be-
you can have them next to each other and have permissions to cross into the one another. Now, what you could probably do if you really wanted to have separate buildings is to expand your land and then build 2 separate buildings. That might work.
Also, you could have because you can't put them so close next to each other, you can just have doors that are so close that you can just go from one to the other. That's not
Otherwise,
working.
we'd be in the
There-
griefing territory. We have to, because otherwise people could surround your land claim,
Yeah.
right? So we have to give people a little space
Yes.
to
We
avoid.
have a
See,
buffer
that's
zone
why
there.
they're designers and I'm not.
Sadly, we have these lovely people on the beta who build really nice things for other players, and then occasionally we see people in the beta
Yes.
doing things that are
that
quite
are
nasty, and then we. But the good thing
Yes.
about betas is we then get to make design allowances for these kind of behaviors, which is
Exactly.
great.
We will learn and make sure that it's a bit harder to do in the future. Scarsy?
Dude,
Can you build into rock?
I've already seen this question.
Underground base.
Yeah, so what you can do is there are some formations where this makes sense, right? So you can build around a cave entrance or underneath a large overhang or things like that, right? And you also have quite a lot of allowance for building so that your walls stick into rock and things like that, right? So,
But yeah, we
works quite
don't
well.
allow you, like most of the cave spaces in the world are actually spaces where NPCs live.
Yeah.
Right, and so you can't build over the top of NPC camps.
Yeah, there are very
points
few
of
where it's actually caves that you can do that.
Yes.
So.
But you can build like under rock structures and things
Yeah.
to make, yeah.
You can't actually dig into the terrain to do it.
No.
Who go on and don't want to lose their but don't have access to the. Did
who go on vacation
same
and don't want to
they
use their entire base home but don't have access to the game. I think that
get
goes into the
29
question
days, I
earlier,
think.
but we
29,
go over that.
21 or 29
I
days.
mean, we mentioned it, right? Like you can basically have fuel for around. I think you can have basically
A month.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Then it's a week before.
Yeah.
Everything will sort of start to decay.
Yeah.
So you have about a month. But like I think the that's about the limit we can do.
Yeah.
Right? Because with taxation as well, it's around a month. The
Yes.
thing is, I don't think people should expect more because we can't really guarantee people are going to be keeping playing the game if they're gone from the game for a month. But what you can do, as mentioned sort of before, is you can get someone else to just fuel your base for you, give them temporary permission if you trust someone. The other thing you can do is you can take a snapshot of your base as a blueprint, and you can store all of these items in the bank, which is by the exchange we talked about earlier. So there's a bank where you can put things. So you can put your best items away, leave the game for a year. You won't have your base when you come back, but you'll still have the blueprints for that base, and you can place it out and start from basically where you were, keeping your stuff at the tier that you were at. And the character will be persistent, just like in any sort of online multiplayer game, any kind of MMO. Your character will still be level 70 or whatever. So if you go for a long vacation and go away from the game for a long time with a little bit of preparation, you can come back and be on your feet again pretty quickly. But
Okay.
if you want to go away for more than 4 weeks, yeah, it's going to be hard for us to like make sure that everything stays without any decay. And obviously that would lead to servers becoming really cluttered as well. So we have to be, we have to make sure that the game continues to flow for everyone else as well.
Yeah, and the bank, as mentioned, it does fit quite a lot of items, right? And you can also bank your Solari, your currency in there, which also further allows you to push ahead once you come back. So you don't have to struggle through the progression as you normally would.
Exactly.
That was the last question, potentially. can't hear you. Like my
I can hear him. He said that was the last
It was
question.
the last question. Yeah, my
Okay.
He said that was the last question, and also pineapple does not belong on pizza, and he's been wrong all this time.
No one is
He's been
asking
wrong
you
the whole
about
time.
pizza.
He's been wrong the whole time.
No one is asking you about pizza.
Pineapple does not belong on pizza.
That's
I agree.
One area, your input doesn't count.
What?
One area.
Look at how fat I am. Of course, my opinion on food counts.
He's fat shaming himself.
All right.
Cheers,
so
chat.
we should get actually some envelopes once the raffle is over, and we will go from the side. We will have envelope for you first, which will be the standard editions. Then for you with the deluxe edition, and I will have the honor to announce the ultimate edition winner. But let me also already say thank you for your time, as always. It's always a pleasure to have you on stream. Even though other people, even though people might not believe me saying that.
That sounded so sincere, Natasha. I was like,
It is
oh my.
No, I'm not joking. It is a pleasure to have you on stream. No matter the chaos.
People enjoy
This is
my
like
toe shoes. Look,
Chaos,
that's-
chaos goblin.
It's a style statement.
Yeah. This is who I am.
Free food pics.
People thought I was drunk on the last stream, but the reality is it's just who I am. And
Well,
that's
that was
kinda sad too.
even for you. That was actually more energy than normal, which is quite
Too much Coke Zero. That's why I've switched to the max.
quite impressive. Anyway, so I think we're giving it maybe a few more minutes with the raffle. Or so remember exclamation mark. Woo.
Woo.
If you know, you know. So we give it a few more minutes.
What is chat's
Yeah,
best?
my in-ear doesn't work anymore.
What's the best June puns, chat?
I'm not sure why it doesn't work.
What's
Oh,
your
it
favorite
lost
June
power.
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot. Not sure I can think of any.
What do you call what do you call a
the battery
sandworm
went
that won't
out.
show its
Yeah,
face?
it's
You know
actually
this
not
one.
Oh, I know that one. A shy halud.
I like it.
There.
Here
Nice
comes
one.
envelope.
Oh.
We have the first envelope. So we have
Will you take the Chris knife?
standard edition.
I will take it from you with my hand and put it in my pocket.
Are we ready?
Go for it.
Open it.
So for the ultimate one.
No, standard. Standard.
You're just reading this
Oh.
one.
Standard.
But it's in the wrong order.
Yeah, I know. That's what can I say?
Yeah, so it is. Okay, standard first. I_Nightshade I. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Also pronounced E Nightshade E. Is that correct?
How are we like?
not
okay,
sure.
I think
are
I've seen
they
that
supposed to
person.
message us? I actually.
Yep.
We will DM you. So we will DM you on Twitch
All right, and
for further
then
information.
next one for standard is Goddard 202.
Goddard
202 or Goddard
Yeah.
202?
Congratulations.
I think Goddard
You're
202
also
or
nice.
Goddard's 02. One or the other.
It's fine. It's
One
good.
of the others.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well done.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now Joel has the pass it over.
Yes.
All right. I just like this. You do realize this is the most dangerous thing you could ever do on a live stream. Read out names of people's names. Like there could be all kinds of things
Oh, of
written
course.
in here.
I know.
Yeah, like
I know.
your mama was a sandworm. That's like could be one of the names. All kinds of things. This is, however, the deluxe edition goes to Windy 1995.
Windy.
Probably born in 1995, which makes him a very good age.
Congratulations. And now, drum roll for the ultimate edition. Nice, I love it. Thank you, boys. Joker_PL, congratulations. You have won an ultimate edition of Dune Awakening. We will DM all of you on Twitch with further instructions.
I won't DM you. just
No,
so
not
we're clear.
Joel.
Won't
You
be
don't want Joel to
You don't
DM you,
want it?
believe me. No.
So I won't slide into your DMs like
No,
that.
don't slide into anyone's DMs, please, Joel. We're still dealing with the last lawsuit. No, I'm just joking. That was a joke, by the way. That was a joke. Anyway, now we're encouraging each other. That's not good. That's not good. Again, thank you so much for being in the stream. Again, we'll figure out if you're going to be on the next stream or not. If we're leaving, if we let you out again for this one.
I didn't
Leo,
insult an
always a pleasure.
entire
No,
country
we
this
didn't.
time.
Yeah, that's
I
we call that improvement and
I didn't
progress.
do my bad impressions.
Anyway, so a few additional information. We will actually have an AMA on Reddit on the 6th of May at 4 p.m.
Okay.
CEST. But for those of you who can't be there, you actually will have the opportunity to go there already on the 5th of May. We will have a Reddit thread on the Dune Awakening Reddit where you can post your questions that we will answer in the EMA on the 6th of May. So take that opportunity to ask some questions to some of our lead designers, including Joel. Joel will be there to answer some questions.
Dude, I love how much time they're putting into all these. Like,
try to get a key for
I'm trying. I am trying so fucking hard to get a key to this beta. They better give me one.
You're good.
But I don't really expect it.
To follow us on our socials, of course, join our Discord, Dune Awakening for everything. And thank you for joining us tonight. And I hope we'll see you again in our next stream. Good night.
All right, y'all. So that's the Dune Awakening live stream 3. This was the last premium content for the month of April for Rumble and for all YT subs. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I will catch you tomorrow. We're at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. We will be playing Callisto Protocol and trying to finish it. I was going to stream yesterday, but I had some issues with the power grid at my house. We were replacing some breakers, so we had to keep turning all the power off and turning it on, replacing some outlets to make sure we didn't like electrocute ourselves. So just wasn't the right day to stream, but I'll be back tomorrow. Regular stream, Callisto Protocol. Hopefully we'll finish it. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace.